is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls, or good afternoon, or good evening, or maybe it's the middle of the night whenever you're watching or downloading the show on any of our platforms out there. Thank you all for tuning in here to the program and to support us, of course, every single day. Appreciate it. Getting a little closer to the draft, getting closer to talking about some real football happening and seeing who are the new players to join the Dolphins. We are a little over 24 hours away from game 2 of the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. Miami got an enormous break with no Giannis going out with that back injury. I'm sure he'll shoot that thing up, and he'll be back playing on Wednesday because they can't go down 0-2. So expect that Vegas is expecting with the line that's out there. And last night, unfortunately, the Panthers lost to the Bruins. Not that you're surprised, and I thought Alex Lyon had some really good saves, and there was one goal that was out of his control, the first one, and then the second one was a little cheesy. Yeah, he got past his glove there, but overall, he's done a good job. It's just you're facing the Boston Bruins, and they're better, and it's just the bottom line, unfortunately. But they go down 1-0. The Marlins are now over 500 at 9-8. It wasn't that Lusardo was outstanding or anything, but he was serviceable. And then the bullpen did enough. And Soler hit a 2-run shot. So they're 9-8. So there's a bunch of stuff going on locally. Obviously, we had some basketball last night in the playoffs. We got some more games tonight going on in the playoffs. We got some guests for you today on the show. Cameron Wolfe will stop by with our KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report. And remember, tax season, okay? We just passed the deadline. So make sure if you haven't done your taxes and you're slacking, use the QR code right there for your business, for your home. Do not mess around with the government, bro. Pay your taxes, okay? So do your taxes, and KSDT can guide you and help you save money personally, professionally, all of those things. They can help your business. So tax season is on right now. We've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. You don't really even have to go into an office. You can be anywhere and just use the QR code, use the number, call them, and tell them that you heard it on our show, of course, please, okay? The other day we were broadcasting at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, and one of our listeners was there, and it was him and his son. They were both there, and they came by to say hi to me and Sean, and telling us how they listen all the time, been listening for years. and that they're here to get a car and all that. And I said, well, did you tell them about us? And, no. So I know this happens a lot. Like, you don't realize it. You'll walk into Caneswear, you'll buy something, you'll walk right out, and maybe you heard it from us, but you forgot to tell the people there while you're at Caneswear. So, that's very important. Okay. If you call EJD Construction and you hire them, or you call Cutter's Edge Pro because you want to put in artificial turf or you want to put landscaping or whatever, please make sure you mention our show. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. I get it when you go to Hialeah, casino. It's hard. What are you going to do? Tell a dealer? They probably won't even know who the hell I am. You know what I'm saying? 95% of those dealers probably don't know me. You know what I'm saying? But it's harder in a casino. But in other places, it doesn't hurt. It helps, please. So make sure you mention us because that's very, very important. I see Tua Time loves the mozzarella logs. Yeah, they are good, by the way. Those mozzarella logs are the best, actually. I got to give them their props when it comes to the mozzarella logs. I mean, you can have mozzarella sticks all over the place, but those mozzarella logs at walk-ons, those things are the bomb. Holy moly. What do you think, Sean? Could you have a couple of mozzarella logs right now? Yeah, I got a 2 thumbs up on that. Damn right. Anyway, you want to get in on the chat board? It is nice and open for you guys. Mark, by the way, Poplaka, whatever I think his name, or Popelka. I think that's what it is. I think it's Popelka. Some of you don't listen very well. He says, Big O, shortly after the Dolphins got Barrows, your thoughts were he would be used as a returner. Yesterday, you were now talking about him being used in the slot. What changed your mind? I answered it to him there, but like some of you have a hard time listening. I never said he wasn't going to be a slot. Of course, that's all he is. What he isn't is an outside receiver. But what I've said is that I believe right now the slot receiver will be a situational player, is what I've said. That's what I think is going to happen because I don't think there's one guy that is really going to separate themselves. So I think McDaniel will use it depending on the down and distance and the situation or the point you're at, on the field in the game and all those kind of things. That's what I've said. Steve Chapman is in the house. Brian Walters is in the house. Jamie Zoria there. Kyle Cockrell in. And Kyle is also an investor in Injective Protocol. He got in with me, I guess. I don't know where you got in, Kyle, okay? Because I was mentioning Injective Protocol when it was, down at $1.40 something, $1.70, something like that. So I don't know where you got in on it, but it's at $9. Okay, it's like at $9.07, $9.10 today. And it has just absolutely exploded. Okay. A lot of you out there, forget about the idiots that don't know anything about crypto and they slam on it. But if you have paced with me, you're all making money. Okay. That's all I got to say. If you've paced with me and you've bought the dip and all that, you're all making money. Okay? Every single one of you is making money. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I tell you is financial advice because I did not go to school for that. But all I got to say is everything we've been talking about, it's all in the green already at this point. If you have followed and paced with me and bought the dips and all those things, and not only are you in the green, if you went with me on Alethea, brother, you made a shit ton of money because it went over 9 times from where I mentioned it. And if you got in a little late, well, then maybe you made only 8 or 6 or 5 times. Still made money. Injective Protocol. Don't know when you came in on it with me, but you've easily doubled, tripled, quadrupled, 5 times your money easily. Okay? So, not sure. Bitcoin, if you bought it all the way down with me at 16 and 17 and 19, you're all making money right now. Ethereum, you bought it all the way down to 900. It's at 2,100 now. You're all making money with me. No, you can't help me with anything, Siri, you bitch. Shut up. Don't get in my conversation. Anyway, so you're all in the green. That's all I got to say. Every one of you is in the green. You know what else I have to say? You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all I got to say. You're all welcome. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You know, you can make even a Bitcoin donation. You're all making money. Okay? You're all making money. So, anyway, Alejandro is in from West Palm Beach. Lots of noise about Cook. Yeah, just noise. Looks like agent or friends connected to him. We have other needs. Yep. Listen, like I said yesterday, right? Was I put out the Dalvin Cook segment. Just go back, go listen to it, and I tell you exactly how Miami will end up signing him. If they sign him, the scenario that is the only way I think Miami ends up with him. And it's all there. It's there's too much, but then again, it's slow. People got to fill time and all that. So it is what it is. Andres says, good morning. Where the hell was Barkov last night? Kachuk was more present last night, scoring the only Panther goal. Give Matthew the C over Barkov, and I would trade Bob for the cap. Well, it's just they're not at their level, man. Boston's at another level. You know, this one's kind of tough. Kachuk is a badass, bro. Kachuk is he's wired differently, man. Mark says, Big O, of course, I know you said he's also slot, but unless I misheard something, I thought you said he would be best utilized as a return guy because we have, that's exactly what I said. He's a return guy and a slot. That's all he does. He's not going to be an outside guy, bro. I'm not sure what you're trying to point out, dude. I didn't say anything about Berrios that is not common sense. He's your kick returner, punt returner, and then he'll be a slot guy. Will he be the full-time slot guy? I don't believe that. I don't believe that because I think they'll use other guys because they have other guys. So that's all, man. I haven't changed at all. It's all been the same thing. Jonathan Cagle is in. Omar Lopez, Giovanni Castiglione. Tua Time is in. Timothy Eason, Chris Wilson Fishing. And that's true. Blow up that like button, please. Terry Lynch in. Gus 1388. Green Lion. NorCal says wake and bake Big O show. Puff, puff, give. Well, the COVID stuff is out of there pretty much. Very little COVID left. Now you can puff, puff, pass. I think now you don't have to stay personal now anymore. Sweet Baby Ray is in. Nizzle in. Lewis Too Lit in. Lisa Rose in. Green Lion says, maybe the Marlins will give us something to watch this summer. I'm gonna need a few more months of this before I'm starting to believe anything. Okay. Campbell's is in. Big O, the Kings are so fun to watch. In my lifetime, I thought I would never see a Sacramento Kings title. I don't know if you're going to see a Sacramento Kings title, but it is a damn good team. And it's nice for them to finally have one. They haven't had one since those Vlade Divac teams with Chris Webber and when they were the Queens, according to Shaq. Stetson O is in. Let's see. Marcellus Temple checking in from Medley. Yeah, baby. That's where I got arrested. Yeah, Medley. Love it. So you'll know the story just in case. So I am 18 years old. I'm in my 280ZX. I have a tail light out. Couple months before that, I got a ticket for something. I forgot what it was. Might have been speeding, might have been something. I forgot what it was. And my dad goes to me, you need to pay this ticket. You need to pay this because they end up getting a bench warrant on you. And if they stop you, they can arrest you. And I'm like, okay, no problem. 18 years old. You're full of shit in your head, you know. I still am anyways, but whatever. But then maybe I had a little bit more. And so I forgot to pay it, or maybe I irresponsibly didn't pay it, or whatever the hell it was. So I live in Hialeah, and I'm cruising through Medley to get to the highway. I think there was something on Okeechobee, and I cut through. When you turn left on 4th and Okeechobee, that road that goes right into Medley, right? And then you go to that light where the Burger King is at. Remember, fat people use food as spots to make a left and a right and give you directions and landmarks, you know. That's what those fat people do. Where that Burger King's at, you make a left and then you make an immediate right and you go towards the highway, right? So I go through there, and cop pulls up behind me, pulls me over. And he asked me, hey, you know why I pulled you over? And I actually said, no, I don't, because I wasn't really breaking the law at all. I was, you know, anybody knows you don't drive fast through Medley. Okay. So it's like that's like the law. Okay. Anybody lives in Hialeah knows that you don't F around with Miami Springs cops or Medley cops. Those people, whatever it is, they'll stop your ass. Okay. You're going like 2 miles over the speed limit. They will stop your ass. So he stops me. He says, hey, you know why I'm stopping you? I said, no, officer, I don't know. And he goes, well, your taillight's out. And I go, okay, no problem. So, okay, you know, so I figure out I'm going to get a ticket for a taillight. I give him my license and registration. I didn't even know. Did they ask for insurance in those days? I don't even remember. Anyway, so I give him my license and registration. And he goes back to the car. And he comes back and he tells me there's a warrant for your arrest. Because you didn't pay a ticket. So they arrested me and put me in a Medley holding cell. And then I remember I called my dad. And I've told this story before. You've heard this story before, right, Sean? And so I called my dad, because you get the one phone call. And I said, hey, man, I got arrested, you know, and he goes, what did you do? I go, I wasn't doing anything. I just got pulled over because I had a tail light out. But they arrested me because I didn't pay that ticket. And he goes, didn't I tell you to pay that ticket a couple months ago? Remember, I have old school parents, all right? Not this wussy-ass parents that you have nowadays, okay? Oh, my child's in the jail. Oh, let me go rush down there right away. That ain't Cuban parents, bro. So the old man goes, you know, in Spanish, he goes off on me. I'm in jail. There's no sympathy here. Okay, this isn't like they handle you nowadays with kids nowadays, that they're so worried about their feelings and this and that. Brother, that ain't going right. Okay. So I'm about to get thrown from the holding cell into the Gen Pop cell. And I'm making my phone call. And he goes, no problem. I'll go pick you up tomorrow. It's like 1 a.m. now at this point, maybe 2. Because I think I got arrested like around 10:30, 11 in Medley. And then by the time I wasn't able to make the phone call until I got to the holding cell in Dade County. Okay, so they had me holding in Medley for an hour and a half or whatever, and then they took me to the holding cell in Dade County where they processed me, and then I got my phone call, and then I got a dirty mattress and a dirty sandwich in a brown bag and sent to the main holding cell with a whole bunch of people. First question I got when I got in there, you got any marijuana? And I'm like, they search you, bro. Like, how are you supposed to sneak marijuana in? You know, like, no, I don't. You know, so Any drugs? No, bro. What are you talking about? Got nothing. Oh, man. That was an experience. I gave away my sandwich. It was disgusting. It was like an egg sandwich. It was just gross. Wrapped up in cellophane. Disgusting. The mattress, I just left it there on the floor. I just sat in a corner somewhere and just waited till the next day. I sat in that holding cell for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours, something like that. And then the old man came waltzing in the morning to pick me up. He wasn't going to ruin his sleep, bro. He was going to get a good night's sleep. And then he was going to teach me the lesson and then pick me up after. So, kiddies, just so you'll know, okay? That's how I was raised. Some of you out there, you'll never get that kind of treatment. You'll have the parents that'll be screaming at the cops and all that. We had the parents that were hitting your ass and burying you after you got in trouble. It wasn't already enough that you got in trouble, but then you got a second layer of guilt and smacks and punishments and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's how it goes. So that's my medley story this morning for you. Kyle, you got in at 187 and you're at 908. You have taken profits, right? Okay. Again, not a financial advisor. Okay? But as I've said many times over, once you pass, if you invest in something at a price point, and let's say you continue to buy it on its way down, okay? So your dollar cost averaging, let's say you bought it at $8 and you thought that was the floor, but it went down to $7.50, you bought a little bit more, went down to $6.78, you bought a little bit more, went down to $6.02, you bought a little bit more, and then it started to climb back up again. And then once you pass the 8, the first time you invested, from that point on, what I do is that $8, once I get 30% up, I take 10. And every 30% it goes up, I take 10% and take 10% and take 10%. And that's how I pull the profits. Okay? But don't do this for fun to just watch it all grow in total price. Do it because you want to make a little extra money. And so, you take some profits. All right? Move it over to something else if you want, but whatever, but take profits always along the way. All right? Don't think you're going to get rich. I mean, I know I'm not going to get rich because I can't invest the kind of money that's going to get me rich. So, I'm just going to make a couple extra bucks and pay a couple of extra mortgage payments or something. I'm not going to get rich. But those of you that do have the money and you're blessed to be able to invest thousands and thousands and make maybe hundreds of thousands or $1 million, God bless you, man. You know what I mean? But take profits. Take profits. That's my suggestion. Draymond out there stomping people like they were bugs. Yeah, we'll get to Draymond. Chad is in the house. Big O, I saw your response to Mark P, and I agree. Some people, FIN listen. I was cracking up. Yep. In the green since the beginning. Rocket money bag. That's what Lisa says. Yep. If you dollar cost average all the way down, you are in the money right now. Damo giving Siri the business this morning. Yes. She's a nosy bitch, that Siri. Isais is in. PDB2K15. Big O thoughts on Draymond. I'll get to Draymond Green. Cigar Social Club. Is Barkov a franchise guy? It's Cigar Social. He has that Bam Adebayo problem, that he is too nice of a guy and doesn't have an edge. His talent is sick, and that cannot be denied. He's one of the most talented players in the league by far. He's a top 20 talent, but he has that goober in him, and that's kind of who he is. And this is why I told you that you had to get rid of Huberto last year, because you needed a son of a bitch in the locker room, and they got one in Kachuk. You know what I'm saying? I think the bigger problem for this team is that you lost too much around, Barkov and Kachuk. And I think that's more of the problem. Obviously the injuries and then the new system and all of that. But I get your concerns because a game like that, and you want Barkov to step up and show you what you've seen from Kachuk. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because it almost makes you think. Here's the effed up part. Are you ready for this? That Carter Verhaeghe mentally is better suited to be a leader of a team than Alexander Barkov. Alexander Barkov is almost like the great player that just kind of needs to be in the background. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing. It's a weird dynamic. And Verhaeghe, by the way, showed us he was a dog last year in the playoffs, as you know, because you follow hockey a lot, and I actually run into you even at hockey games. And so yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird dynamic. That's why when I was telling you yesterday, Bam Adebayo is Jamal Mashburn. He's wired the same way. He's too nice. And that's what stopped Jamal Mashburn from being an outright dog, because he's such a great person, such a decent human being that it's hard for him to dial up the son of a bitch. Some moms can dial up the son of a bitch. Some dads can dial it up. Your bosses can dial it up. You can dial it up. But there are some people that just can't. It's not in their DNA. And Barkov, it's not in his DNA. It's not in Bam Adebayo's DNA. And it certainly wasn't in Jamal Mashburn's DNA. It's weird. Barkov is better than Bam and Mashburn at his craft compared to those guys. But it's weird that that dynamic is there, that it's just, you don't find that ingredient in his personality. It's a shame. Chad says, proud of the Cats last night. We knew it was going to be a tough matchup, but man, unlucky. I feel like they were putting some pressure on the Bruins. Yeah, they played well. They had their moments. Just they're not good enough compared to that team. It's just, I wish they would have been able to get to 7th spot. Really, not the 8. The 8th spot was just, you didn't want to have to deal with the Bruins this year, man. Barkov, like Hubie, are not ballsy enough. Hide in tough playoff games. Sadly, proof is in the pudding. Yeah. Chad says, Kachuk is the real thing. The scouting report is out on us. If we get played really aggressive on the power play, we turn the puck over and it's easy clears, missing Sam Bennett in these kind of games. Yeah, we're not a tough team. We're not a tough team. And we've been, you know what, man? I don't work for a corporation. We've been a bunch of pussies for a while. Okay? Let's just say it. Forget the W. Let's go with the P. And, they got to build this team a lot tougher. That's all I got to say. Eric Rutherford is in the house. Strafasi is in the house. I think the Anderson signing was a waste for the Dolphins. There's no risk whatsoever, dude. They're not paying him any money. He's just a, training camp fodder. Don't look too much into it. They're not counting on him for anything. As I said yesterday, I believe this signing is more a favor to an agent from somebody in the personnel department, or two, by some chance they're able to trade Cedric Wilson. Then they're going to need a little depth and competition to replace him, and he will be that competition to try to replace him. That's all. I think there's a good chance he doesn't make the team at all. But it doesn't hurt to have extra bodies in camp, and you never know. Maybe he comes in focused, and maybe he, shocks the world. We'll see. He's in his hometown. Rob Budd is in. He says, Welker will have 4 wide receivers that can be weapons in the slot to play with. Exactly. EJ Barro in. Chronic Smoke is in. Arcarillo in. Lenny Peña is in. Timothy Eason, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Says, Big O, I sent you some Bitcoin. I'm going to resend it back on Cash App. Ooh, I like that. Thank you, Timothy Eason. Very nice of you. By the way, Bitcoin is up just over 2.5%, over 30,000. It went on a little under 30,000. I knew it was going to make its way back. I actually think we might hit 31,000 today. Okay, I think it might happen. Okay, I see nothing so far in Cash App or Venmo, but thank you, Timothy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Mario Gonzalez is in from Rancho Cucamonga. Knight says, I just don't think Barrios, you mean, will get much time outside special teams and maybe third down short yardage. Yeah, he'll get some time in the slot, and then obviously as a returner. Art Carrillo says that 280ZX would do it to you. Wow, that's a good vision on your part. How did you? But you can't even see it on this picture. Oh, you must be a long time listener, because you mentioned the infatuation. There you go. My car back in Hialeah High. The infatuation. Yes, sir. 280ZX. It's my favorite car of all time, by the way. You know how old this photo is? Yeah, baby. It's the Eckerd Ultra Lab, bitch. That's right. I got this done on the Eckards on 16th Avenue, and you know where the mall is on 49th Street and 16th Avenue, right? On that corner was Gus Machado. Now there's a Krispy Kreme, right? Fat people, we know food, we know landmarks, okay? That corner, right? But then you go north on 16th, and you pass the mall on your left side, the Westland Mall, and then there was another mall right after where Godfather's Pizza was at. There was an Eckerd there. This photo comes from that Eckerd that was there back in Hialeah when I was living in Hialeah, going to Hialeah High in a 280ZX. So there you go. How about that? Jay Gelfin is in the house. NBA playoffs have been fun-believable. Yes, they have. They've been fantastic, as they used to say. Marcellus Temple is in the house. Knight, that's exactly why we signed Barrios, he says. Walter Olivares is in. That Burger King is now gone. Okay. Oh, the Burger King in Medley is gone? Haven't even noticed it. You know, and I go by there all the time. That Burger King's gone? Damn. Seriously? Wow. All right. Those Medley police are no joke. They will also tell you there's a big distinction between them and Hialeah cops. Lived in Miami Springs for a while. Definitely don't mess with them. Oh, yeah. Bro, Medley and Miami Springs, it's like West Miami cops. It's like the cops over in Golden Beach, Riviera Beach, just after the Marco Polo, that you start to get to those rich houses. Do not ever speed in those areas. They will bust your ass. I don't know what they're called. Is it Riviera Beach? Is it Riviera Beach cops? No, right? It's, or whatever. I don't know that area. I don't know what the hell they're called, but those guys and ladies, they don't mess around, dude. So I have heard it made you stay overnight. LOL. Yeah, that's the old man. Mike Honcho is in. Ohio John in the house. What's up, Ohio John? Big O, thank you for the love on the super chat. We all know Gesicki was a big part of the offense last year. So why is the tight end position seen as a priority in the draft? Because we've made it a priority in the draft. Okay. It's not like the Dolphins have told you, oh, we're going to draft a tight end. We kind of assume that they're going to do that. And this is a very heavy tight end draft. There's a lot of tight ends. McDaniel needs to have his kind of tight end. So the guy has to be able to block some. And that's why. And so Gesicki was not a blocker, period. So you can't sell it because you can't count on it. And he doesn't want that. He wants whoever he lines up that he can sell block or pass catch. And you can do that with Smythe because you really don't know what he's going to do because you can send them out on routes. So if they use a guy, he will not be a pass catcher that they draft. It'll be a guy that's a two-way player. So if you're going to look it up and start scouting and all that, make sure you find guys that can actually block because the guys that can't block will not be drafted here. That's not what Mike McDaniel wants. So out of the group that's there coming out of the draft, there are a couple actually that are two-way guys in this draft. Luckily for the Dolphins, they will have those options in the second and third rounds, and that's why we've used it as a priority. Isaias is in. Let's see. Knight says, I remember my M9M would say, do what you want, but you deal with the consequences, stupid. Jay Hurd is in. J-Town in. Some news on Gala. You need to check out the 2.0. Oh, yeah, I know the 2.0 is coming. It's replacing the original Gala. The V2 is coming, and so you'll get the airdrop, and it'll replace your Gala. So I know about the 101 swap, J-Town. I know about it, my brother. Thank you for giving me the heads up. I appreciate you looking out, but I'm a Gala guy, so I do keep up with that. EJ Barros says Barkey needs cutter's edge. Yeah, William from Cutter's Edge, that dude brings the edge. There's a reason why Cutter's Edge Pro is such a kick-ass business, and it's because William only excels because it's everything they do is exceptional. So you'll see it if you get Cutter's Edge Pro for your home or your business. And I don't know if Will can help out Barkov. He can help out his home, but I don't know. He would need like a transfusion of William Quigley's blood. And then Barkov would be, he'd have a little edge to him. That's what we need. We need a blood transfusion. William Quigley's blood into Barkov, and maybe we can save the Panthers season. That's a good idea, actually. Edward Thurston House says Barkov doesn't get physical enough. Yeah, no, that's not who he is. He's a goober. He's a really nice guy. Manuel says Kachuk deserves to be the captain of the team. He almost single-handedly willed the Panthers to the playoffs. What a player. Yep. Yeah, he's a man. Playoff hockey is unlike any other sport as defensive-minded tend to excel. Combined with a hot goalie in the playoffs, no a team can in the cup. What? No. Oh, why team can in the cup? I don't know what that means. Andres Orozco is in. John Dew is in. Shouldn't have got rid of Smith, Marsh, and the Hurricane guy. I know. Isaias is in. Andres Orozco, the Bob contract is hurting us. Yes, it is. Robbie Anderson is Dollar Store Randy Moss. No, he's not. Big O, the Bruins should play this Meow Mix jingle at the next game. Carrillo. Devin Jordan is in. All right, you guys are continuing to ask me about Draymond. Let me get into the Draymond Green. So Draymond Green yesterday got ejected, and yes.
Hey, before you get too deep, Cam's there.
I haven't even looked down. My bad. Let's go. Let's release the Wolfpack. Cam Wolfe. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm blabbering. Let's go. Let's talk football.
We unleash the Wolfpack. As we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All right, there he is. I'm sorry, were you there long?
I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so.
I'm sorry, bro. I apologize.
All good.
I apologize.
All good. You were deep into your chat, your chat, so I got it. I had to text Sean. I was like, I'm ready whenever you are.
This is why I can be a talk show host, because I talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I can just talk shit forever, and I can just keep going and going and going. And sometimes you have to stop me. And so thank you for stopping me there, Sean. Appreciate it. My bad. Because I'm just looking. I sometimes don't look to the right, because if I'm not talking to somebody, because this is my live part. So you're here, like I've got you here on my iPad, but the iPad's delayed. So I have to look at the computer, which is the live one, because sometimes what I'm doing is I'm looking at the camera so I can talk to the people. You know what I mean? So that I don't look to the right. And when I don't look to the right and it's the bottom of the hour and I'm like, holy shit. So my bad, man. I'm sorry. Apologies there. All right. So you into the playoffs? Your Sixers are doing all right.
Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic. I told you before, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We're supposed to beat the Nets. But it does look good the way they're playing. Embiid didn't have a big number day, and they still won by double digits. They're shooting the three well. They're playing defense. And so, I'm cautiously optimistic. And I will tell you, for this first round, I am very much a Heat fan. I'd love for the Heat to pull the upset and get the Bucks out of there. I mean, we're just one win in, but I was joking with my Heat buddies. I was hoping for the Celtics, and they lost the play-in game, and so now it's the Bucks. Get one of those guys out of the way for us, and that's all I asked for. So
you kidnapping Giannis for tomorrow, because he's going to play tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's going to play tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe the back will be a little stiff. I don't know.
Some tells me it'll be nice and loose after a trainer meets with him. I'm just going to take a wild guess.
Yeah, Giannis is probably Giannis is probably going for 40 40-point triple double. What is it? Tonight they play?
No, tomorrow night.
Yeah, so
that's actually the break for him. He gets 2 days to get that treatment. So that's actually huge for him. Huge for Miami too, because with Jimmy Butler, he gets a couple of days off too, and he's got to do a lot of the heavy lifting, obviously. And so that's also really good for Miami that Jimmy gets 2 days, to rest and all of that. I was going to get into the Draymond Green stuff. I mean, that dude never learns, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Come on, man.
So what's your take here? Are you thinking it's all Draymond's fault here for this? I will say he did grab Draymond's foot.
Okay. So yank your foot off of his hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't stomp on the guy. Don't add to it, bro.
I get you. And I think Draymond does not get a
idea is, bro, everybody knows that you're easily wound up, right? So why do you get in?
That's the point here. Like, Draymond does not get a benefit of the doubt because of all the stuff that he's done. Like, he has a history of agitating and doing these type of things. So, he said he had nowhere else to land and he had his foot there. If it was somebody else, maybe we might believe him a little bit more. But since it's Draymond, it's like, no, you intentionally
you have no credibility. Right.
And so, and so it didn't help. They were losing. They've lost 2 straight games to the Kings, who, by the way, the Kings have been
better.
Wow. Marcel, I don't know if you guys know, is a big Kings fan. He grew up in the Sacramento area. And so if I've been able to stay up, which I did not finish the game last night, I'm not going to lie, I fell asleep in the fourth quarter. But the first game, I stayed up for.
Your father, bro.
Yes. I try my best, but, I'm getting old, man. But I was texting him because he's pumped about it. And for Kings, we were talking about this last episode. It's been 20 years since they've had some success, and they draw the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs, in the first round, and you're like, oh, there it is. That's the end. They're gonna get them out of there, and it's not over yet, but up 2-0. That's pretty impressive. And you got Draymond all heated, and yeah, it's a fun playoff so far.
So how was Cabo?
It was great. It was great.
How was the party? The because it was like a B-day get together, right?
Yeah. It was a blast. I had my wife planned it all. She had my friends come out there, some of my friends from college days, and their significant others, and we stayed at a nice resort. We did a lot of drinking, a lot of time on the water. We got a yacht, went out there on the water, hit a club one night, just kind of explored. Had my parents bring my daughter out to a separate villa for a couple days too. So they surprised me. It was all a whole surprise week. And so, yeah, man, it was an amazing time. Probably one of the best trips I've ever had. You only turn 30 once. And so, I lived it up. And so it took me probably 2-3 days to get back into the flow of actual life. But man, I'm back in it now.
As time rolls on, you're going to want to turn 30 again and again and again.
Yeah.
Trust me. When you said that, I go, damn, that was 26 years ago. Would I love to be 30 again?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
You just turned 30 and you got to add a quarter century to catch up to my ass.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's damn, bro. Damn. All right.
Hey, life goes quickly, man. It's crazy. Like I know it's all perspective, but when I was in this industry, I started this 22 years old, and I got a lot of joy about being like one of the youngest dudes in the locker room. I was the same age as everybody in the rookie class of whatever team I was covering. It was the Broncos at that time. And even as I got older, I was still one of the youngest guys. Now I'm at 30. I'm probably going to walk into locker rooms, and there's probably only like 3, 4, 5 dudes in there that are my age or older. It's a young league. And so my worry constantly, and I try to do my best, is I don't want to let it pass me by where it's the previous culture. I'm talking about the young heads instead of me being one of those guys. So I'm holding on to that as long as I can, but probably another 2-3 years, they're going to be looking at me and saying, sir, and mister, and that's going to make me feel some type of way.
Try doing a talk show.
Yeah.
After decade and trying to stay up with all the crap that goes on. And then you have to stay up with references too. Yeah. Because as the references get older, you tune out the younger people because they haven't watched this movie or that scene, or they don't know this about history or whatever. And so you use it as a joke, as a reference, and they're like, what's he talking about? That kind of shit. Like I can't, if I talk about somebody that gets stoned, I can't say Spicoli anymore because not everybody has seen Fast Times at Richmond High. So I have to say Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? Like a fresh one is Wiz, a 90s one is Snoop, and an 80s one is Spicoli. So I have to update my stoner reference as I get older and find who's the fresh face of modern stoners. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there you go.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I feel like it's probably still Wiz. There's probably there's other new ones. Like the next generation is probably going to have a new guy. But to me, Wiz is who I grew up as the quote unquote stoner of our generation. And I feel like he probably still is that guy, at least in pop music culture. Yeah.
Right. In entertainment, it's Seth Rogen.
Yes. Yep.
Because
he made several movies. He's made several movies about it. And so, yes.
Dude, he has his own bong.
Right. That is that.
Do you know that? Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't. I didn't know, I think I watched one of his movies that's supposedly based on real life where he's talking about him and his fascination with weed and just kind of how he's in that industry. And so I knew he was in the industry. I didn't know he had his own bong.
Oh, yeah. It's like a $600 bong. It's made in Germany.
Wow.
Okay. And so I know because West Pines, it was one of my sponsors, and they have it there, and they sell it. Yeah. And so Wiz and Seth are like the modern day guys that I would like. Yeah. If I'm referencing somebody younger and hip, I'm going to use Wiz. If I'm representing somebody maybe more white, I'll use.
I got you. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to cater to your audience, dude. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So that way that's what it's like. If I use the Spicoli line, I lose everybody. You only know Spicoli because you took a moment to watch Fast Times at Richmond High. So now you know the ultimate 80s stoner, which is, Sean Penn.
Right.
By the way, Woody Harrelson would be the other one that we could. I think everybody kind of knows he's very open, has his own dispensary and everything in Los Angeles. I don't know if you know that.
I did not.
Does. Yeah. Snoop has his own service and everything. They deliver weed in California.
I did not know this. I'm not in tune with a lot of this. Maybe this is my age showing and me being a father.
No, you're just not a talk show host.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Yeah.
You don't need to know this. See, I just kind of like, there's so much stupid information in here that I just, it just comes out no matter what. Somebody will say something and, okay, yeah, kind of, because I'm just keeping up with everything going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy stuff. So you were the chosen one over in Cabo. What do you think about the Dolphins with their chosen one?
That's good. That's good. It took me a half a second, but I got the reference. I think that was very interesting, right? Because like the Dolphins have had a history over the last, really since Greer took over the role himself without Tannenbaum there, of taking a chance on maybe some low risk. I would say low risk because of the money value.
The Cincinnati running back.
Yeah, and high reward potentially. That Robert and Nkemdiche was in here. A lot of guys who didn't work out. Robert Nkemdiche, Isaiah Taylor or Johnson, whatever the offensive lineman was from Georgia, who lasted like 2 days. They took the running back, Mark Walton, who was in here for a little bit. A lot of these guys coming in on minimum contracts who have had promise, whether they're draft selection or they've had previous success, and you say, hey, if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll cut bait with them. And they're hoping that this is going to be similar because Robbie Anderson was a borderline Pro Bowl player, 2-3 years ago. This is a guy that was, with the Jets, with the Panthers, and, just kind of doing a lot, the Jets, then the Panthers, doing a lot of production, his speed, his size, and really the last couple of years, his stats have dramatically decreased. But the good thing about him is, if he does make the team, and I don't know if it's necessarily a lock that he makes a team, it's a deep roster of group. You got Braxton Berrios, you got Cedric Wilson, you got Eric Uzukama, and then you got River Craycraft now. So that's 6 dudes potentially.
Four guys that I don't think get cut.
Yeah, exactly. And so are you keeping 7 receivers? A lot of people say get rid of Cedric Wilson. Well, he's got guaranteed money on his contract. And so if you can find somebody to trade for him, yes. But are you just going to dump that the money you already paid? That's not something that teams usually do. And so, that's why I said
Cedric Wilson is a character player. Yeah, like he's a good dude, bro.
Right. And he didn't live up to his contract, but he is a guy who's a potential bounce back guy. And he fits, like you said, he's a blocker. He fits a lot of what you want to do. And so let's just put it out there. There's no guarantee that Chosen makes the roster. But if he bounces back on what he is, he provides you another speed threat that's going to get one-on-one coverage. Everybody that's not named Tyreek and Jalen Waddle is going to get one-on-one favorable coverage. You're going to be on the 3rd or 4th best DB on that team, maybe even the 5th best DB on that team. So there's an opportunity for a lot of people to eat in their matchups. And so if Chosen ends up making the roster and carving out a role, then it could add even more speed to what's probably the fastest offense in the NFL. And so I'm intrigued by the possibility, but I also think that fans probably should have a little bit reasonable expectations as far as what his impact will be.
Well, listen, for me, Robbie Anderson, you can, if you want to agree with me or disagree with me, that's fine. 2 things here, Robbie Anderson is. He's one, either a favor to somebody in the personnel department, whoever his agent, I don't know who his agent is, but maybe the agent called and said, hey, man, give my guy a chance. And he's either a favor or 2, he's just an insurance policy. the insurance policy that if you trade Cedric Wilson in the draft that's upcoming, the insurance policy that if you do trade Cedric Wilson leading up to the regular season because another team had an injury and needs a wide receiver. So now if Robbie screws his head on right and he's competing, now he can compete for the slot that's left open by a traded Cedric Wilson. Or there's unfortunate injuries. Things happen in football. And if you have a couple of receivers go down, then if Robbie again has his head screwed on right and is playing well, then he might be able to compete for one of those open spots. But I think he's either a favor or no more than an insurance policy for what you currently have on the roster. Is that the way you look at it too?
I do. You need depth. You need a guy who, like you said, you got a guy in Cedric who had a season where it wasn't great last year. Maybe you get an offer from Dallas. Maybe you get an offer from someone that makes you decide to get rid of him on draft day. But I think right now we're going through the assumption that he's going to be there in the roster in training camp. Probably. Guys get hurt. If you lose a guy, an injury, if you lose a guy because he's really struggling, then you got a guy like Chosen Anderson, Robbie Anderson, whatever you choose to call him, that is there. And so I think you're right. It's sort of a little bit of a safety valve. He can back up both Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. God forbid something happened to them. He plays that speed game like they do. He gives you another option inside as well. If for whatever reason Eric Uzukama does not advance and he still cannot get on the field, then that gives you other depth there. And same for Braxton and River Craycraft. And so I look at it as more of a luxury. Hey, he's not making much money. He gets to be home. He's a Florida native. And so that's what he wanted to do. And, you come back here and maybe it works. You can bounce back and have, a sort of a part-time role here on the offense. Or the Dolphins move on and, that may be the end of Robbie Chosen Anderson. We'll see.
We'll see. I get it, dude. It's the off season. We got to fill time. We got to fill space. To me, the Dalvin Cook stuff, I think the Dolphins are dead set at running back. I don't think they really want to make a move at all. I don't think they're going to pay any money. I don't think they're going to trade anything. And if Dalvin Cook gets released and he's looking for money, he ain't going to find it in Miami. Now, if he wants to take a hometown discount and be low-hanging fruit for Chris Greer, then I think you might be able to see a Dalvin Cook here. To me, that's the only way it happens. To me, I would tell the Dolphin Nation out there will be no trade. There will be no big contracts. There will be nothing for Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook wants to sign here for lesser money, but if he's looking to replace whatever money he loses after he gets cut in Minnesota, he's not going to find it here. And that's what I say to Dolphin fans out there. So if he wants to give the Dolphins a hometown discount, then I think Chris Greer would go for the low-hanging fruit. But that's exactly what Chris Greer is searching for, low-hanging fruit. Not, it's another Miami guy. We've got to do everything to sign him, says Dolphin fan. Your thoughts?
I think that Dalvin Cook, probably like most people who are from Miami, would love to play in Miami, but he's currently a Viking. And I think what you're seeing right now is teams trying to figure out the running back contract landscape. We had similar conversations earlier this offseason with Derrick Henry, right? These are guys making $12, $13 million when people say that running backs don't matter and they're not worth that value overall. And so teams
he wants a new deal.
Yes, exactly. He wants a new deal with guarantees. The team's probably like, you're making more than most running backs, so you should either be happy or, even worse, take a pay cut. And, that doesn't receive well for a guy who's been a top 5 running back over the last 3 or 4 years. And so people always think the grass is greener on the other side, but I'll tell you what, I don't think the Dolphins are paying, 13, 14, $15 million with multiple years guaranteed on a Dalvin Cook at this point. And so I don't know what his mindset is. And I obviously, due to the fact that deal's not done, they're not going to pay the Vikings, significant compensation to get Dalvin Cook. And so it's a little bit of a waiting game. If for whatever reason the Vikings do release him, I'm sure the Dolphins will make a call and see what it works.
But you agree with me. They'll make a call,
Yeah.
But it'll be a call that they're not going to be rolling out the red carpet.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they say, okay, 2 years, $30 million,
Right.
all 30 guaranteed. You're good to go. We got our running back. I'm sure Cook would love that. That's probably his mind. I'd love to get 15 million a year, get a fully guaranteed. I just don't see that happening. One, the Dolphins typically have not invested much in that running back position. They brought back Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson all on deals under $3 million a year each. And, they have a system that they believed in for a while. They haven't drafted.
They all excelled in that system.
And so yes, you could get a Cook. And to be honest, they went out of it slightly one or two times. They've signed a Chase Edmonds for a $6 million deal. That didn't work out. Who was the kid they signed who the year before that didn't work out? The bigger back. He was a bigger back.
Oh, the Howard.
Yes, Jordan Howard, same thing. They invested in the running back there. Didn't really work out. And so I think they're a little, Cook's a different level than those dudes, of course. But I don't think they would invest that sort of capital on a player, especially guaranteed capital. And so release, yes, keep an eye on, but I don't think this is going to be something where the Dolphins are going all in for a Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, just to me, that's the part that I just don't look at it. All right. Who's the tight end or two that you think the Dolphins should target in the second or third round?
Good question. So
here's homework in that area.
Yeah. Here's what I say. They've definitely been doing their homework in the tight end market, but I wouldn't assume, and I heard you talking about this to start, I wouldn't assume that they're going to take a tight end on day two. I think us as fans, you look at the holes on their teams, right? Like we're all NFL fans. You guys, Dolphins fans, you study your team. Where do we have holes? And one of the big holes, tight end, right? Is Durham Smythe really going to be our guy? But I don't know. The team may view that position differently. They may say, hey, we're going to put less value on the receiving portion of this role, focus on having a really good blocker that can at least keep defenses honest, and maybe continue to develop the guys we have younger wise. Maybe they draft a guy in the later rounds. But if you're asking me, okay, if they are taking a tight end in the second or third round, just looking at guys that maybe fit what's in their philosophy. They've spent some time doing homework on Brenton Strange from Penn State. He's a kid who's probably going to be a third round pick, a guy that's probably not mentioned a ton on the top of the tight end guys like Darnell Washington or, Sam Laporta or, Luke Musgrave, Dalton Kincaid. I think you've mentioned Tucker Kraft a bit here. These are all guys that are considered maybe top 4 or 5 tight ends in the class. But I would keep an eye out on the Penn State kid too as well, Brendan Strange. And so those would be probably the 5 or 6 names that would make a lot of sense in the second or third round. But it's a very deep tight end class, and so if they don't hit on one early, they could always come back later and get another guy to develop.
What are you working on the NFL Network so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be on TV the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, talking draft. And so the Panthers, who are the number 1 pick out of pre-draft, talk with their GM. It's smokescreen season, so we'll see how they dance around that. And so I'll be doing that and talking some Panthers on TV. I'm working on a feature on Anthony Richardson. I spent a couple days with him in Jacksonville, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
What are these reports? Some of these idiots have Will Levis and the other kid moving in front of CJ Stroud.
I don't know, man. That's the thing about the draft. That's crazy. You never know. Like some of these things are smoke screens and they're fake. And then some of these things are real. So who knows? This draft is going to be fun. From what I understand, talking to scouts, there's not a lot of elite talent once you get past that 10, 12 range. And so they're expecting a lot more surprises. Guys trading up, guys getting picked who may be second or third round grades on most of the public's board, getting taken in the top 15, top 20. And so it should be interesting, but I'll be talking about that today. Tomorrow, the Dolphins management talks, Greer and McDaniel will be having their pre-draft press conferences. So I'll be up at the facility.
Actually, Marvin Allen.
Marvin Allen. You're right. Greer and Marvin Allen, not McDaniel. Yeah. You're right. So we'll hear it from Marvin Allen, which I don't think he's done much of that, if at all, publicly since he's been here. And so
he's a stud, bro.
Yeah, really good evaluator. A lot of well respected throughout league circles. And, a guy that especially as the Dolphins have more success, they're going to be lucky if they get to keep him for very long.
McKenzie had no reason to be fired in Oakland.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
That was just fucking stupid what they did there in Oakland, because they were in Oakland then at that time. That guy took over his first 2 years. He didn't have a first and a second rounder because they had traded for Carson Palmer. So his first 2 years, he was missing 2 of his top picks.
Right.
And he still found you a quarterback and Khalil Mack, got you to the playoffs. They were headed in the right direction. Marvin Allen has helped the Falcons and has helped the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm telling you, dude, the Dolphins have one of the best front offices in the NFL.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those guys are freaking awesome.
Yeah, they got some depth there, and
those 2 guys will get somebody. I know they're black, so we don't treat the black candidate the same way as a damn white candidate. And it takes them forever to get noticed or get an opportunity, or they have such a short leash, like what they did to McKenzie, that it's a bunch of bullshit. But eventually, I hope people, I mean, I don't really want the Dolphins to lose him, but McKenzie's really good people, and so is Marvin Allen. And those men deserve an opportunity to be their own general managers, one day. McKenzie deserves another shot, and Marvin Allen deserves a shot that he's never had.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to suck for Miami, but I'm telling you, that's why when I saw that Greer brought those guys over, I was like, and I've known those guys. So that's like, I was like, wow, Greer's not effing around, bro. And he does the same thing McDaniel does, which again, people don't really understand this. It's egoless decisions. He's not getting people that are lesser than him, that he's got to train them and teach them like Belichick does with his coaches and all that kind of shit, or that like the way Flo was trying to do things here. He didn't want, experienced coaches around him. He didn't want, stars around him. He kind of wanted to keep everybody under him. McDaniel's not like that. He'll bring an old coach, a guy that's, and Chris Greer, the same thing. He wasn't intimidated by the fact that Reggie McKenzie kicked ass in Oakland, and he brought him over. And Marvin Allen, everybody that follows football, those of us that are in the biz and we follow the personnel side, all of us know Marvin Allen. Mm-hmm. We all know what a badass he is. But of course, minority, it is the same old fucking story, and they don't get the same, deal that everybody else should get. And so, it's a shame. But this is why when he put them together, I kept telling everybody, this will be one of the best front offices in the NFL. And they're proving that. I believe they're proving that, but that's just me. Do you believe the Dolphins have one of the best front offices in the NFL?
I feel like they have definitely the depth. The depth there is incredible, especially towards the top. I think that, like you mentioned, Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie, some of the guys they have sort of in secondary, third, fourth roles could certainly run their own team. And so I think they spread their wings very wide as far as finding draft talent. And, they found some gems, particularly when you go into day 2, day 3, an undrafted pool recently. And so this will be another one. A lot of times they've had a lot of first round picks recently. These next couple of years challenged them a little bit more because no first round pick. But second, third day is when you can make a lot of noise. And so I'm eager to see what they do this year.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up later in the week.
Sounds good.
All right. You go. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed. And when we talk about KSDT CPA, folks, hey, it's tax time. We just passed the deadline. If you didn't file your taxes and you're scrambling right now, there's the QR code right there. Get your QR code. Reach out to the people at KSDT CPAs, wherever you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. Anywhere in the country, you can just call them if you want. It doesn't have to be here only in South Florida, not only in Florida. They've got offices all throughout Florida, all throughout South Florida, and they're going to open up an office in North Carolina. So this company is a great, great sponsor of ours, man. So please support the people that support us. You got to do your taxes. And they've got a crypto department too. So if you're investing in crypto, you want professionals handling your taxes to make sure you're doing things the right way. KSDTCPA. You can find them on Twitter. You can go online at ksdtcpa.com and check out that QR code and get your taxes done. And we thank Cameron Wolfe.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Nothing goes with a high better than mozzarella logs from walk-ons. There you go. NorCal says, thank God, thank goodness, Tannenbaum is gone. Let's see. Cam's rolling one. You guys are cruel. Cam isn't getting paid in Miami. Cook isn't getting paid in Miami. Christian Wilkins is getting all that's left over the cap room after June 1st cuts. Devin Jordan says, God damn, $600 for a bong. LOL. Yeah. Supposedly it's like the bong is the bomb, apparently. The way it's, whatever. I don't know, dude. It's not my thing, but apparently it is like, the guys at West Pines were kind of explaining it to me because obviously that's their thing. That's what they sell. So they have all kinds of bongs, and they have the Joe Rogan one. Not Joe Rogan. Not Joe Rogan. What was the other? Rogan's the host. What's his name, dude? Now I'm brain farting, but not Joe Rogan.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Thank you. Yes. Seth Rogen. Anyway, you know what? Let's start off. Well, this is kind of hour number 2 already here on the program. After Cam was done, we're going to get into Draymond Green. Listen, Draymond Green, and I'll read the story for those of you out there just in case if you don't know what happened and didn't see it. So Draymond Green last night, getting in on it with another player, gets ejected. So Green was ejected from Monday night's game against the Kings. Malik Monk was driving to the basket in the fourth quarter for Sacramento and missed a floater. Domantas Sabonis was fighting for a position under the basket for a rebound and got knocked down. While on the ground, Sabonis put his arms around Green's leg. Green responded by stomping on Sabonis' chest and stepping off of it. Sabonis was called for a technical foul for his play. Green received a flagrant 2 foul, which triggered his ejection. He could be facing a suspension from the league for the play. Green frequently finds himself among the league leaders in technical fouls received. He also has been fined and suspended numerous times by the league, including when he was suspended during the 2016 NBA Finals, where he helped LeBron James win a title by them, being fortunate in that suspension. And plus, they were kind of young, so they weren't really good. They weren't strong mentally to recover from that suspension, clearly. And kudos to LeBron and the Cavs. They took advantage and won. Draymond Green is a pea brain. He's an idiot. He is really not that bright. He can be baited easily, and everybody respects the tough game approach, the blue collar, do all the dirty work stuff. Everybody loves those guys. We've seen the Grant Longs of the world and the Keith Askins and the Udonis Haslams and all kinds of different guys that you have seen in your favorite teams that did a lot of the dirty work stuff, that were glue guys, all that kind of stuff, right? Everybody loves having a Jim Jensen, a Bernie Parmalee on your team because, when you get a Mac Hollins and you get certain players like that, it's something that it keeps the team together. It motivates the team because those kind of players are special. They're special in their own way. They don't have to be the elite talent, but they add another layer to your franchise that it's just like a toughness thing. And so a lot of people respect that. And so many of you, it doesn't matter who your favorite teams are over the years, you're going to be able to think of those kind of guys. And you're going to remember those kind of guys. And you're going to say, yeah, man, that was a hell of a team. But you remember this guy or that guy, and he's not the star, but he's kind of a glue guy. And that's what Draymond Green has been. But the problem with Draymond Green is that he is way too immature and can't keep his cool. And everybody else knows it. And if Sabonis knows it and he puts his hands, and it wasn't right what Sabonis did because he's trying to instigate it. And sure enough, he did. And he got the best out of him and got him to stomp on him and all that and got him ejected. Now, in today's game, in today's Warriors game, I don't know if you really fear Draymond Green nearly as much. He's never been this offensive juggernaut anyway. And he certainly isn't now. And the rest of his game has kind of slowed down. I mean, if I'm the Warriors, I wouldn't even pay him. I'd let him go already. When his contract's up, I'd say, hey, thanks for everything. We appreciate it, but we got to move on. Unfortunately, we appreciate everything you did. You're fantastic, but we've got to move on. And to me, Draymond Green is just a punk, man. That's all. He's just a big-ass punk that can't keep his cool. And you're not good enough anymore. And here's where the rubber meets the road. You tolerate somebody until the baggage outweighs the talent. We've talked about this before. In years past, the talent outweighed the baggage. Presently, the baggage outweighs the talent by a lot. It's time to move on. If you're the Warriors, you can do better now than Draymond Green. Draymond Green was needed for a certain amount of time. Now, he's not needed anymore. And look at where your team is at. You're about to be eliminated by the Sacramento Kings. And not because the Sacramento Kings are this terrible franchise or anything like that. They have been, but this is a good franchise right now. They've got some players. They're actually better than the Warriors right now, with or without Draymond Green. But if you're the Warriors, you're a better franchise moving forward without Draymond Green because you don't need the baggage since the talent is no longer there. Time to move on. C. Dola says, I want Draymond and Patrick Beverly to play with Jimmy. That's good stuff. Devin says, Big O, sometimes Draymond Green's antics can be annoying as F. Yeah, bro. I mean, this is a guy that is hitting balls. Like, come on, bro. What kind of a child are you? Like, that's the kind of shit that kids used to play when they were 12 and 14 and 15 years old. You know, there was always that guy that walked around and tried to, hit balls, with the back of your hand, pa, that kind of stuff. That would usually, you'd end up fighting with me on that one because that was one joke I never really enjoyed. You know what I mean? And the only time it happened to me, I had to kick the guy's ass for it. And he was like, hey, what the hell? And it was like, no, bro, that ain't a joke. That ain't a joke. You're not hitting my balls and then you're going to laugh. No, bro. No. And so to me, ever since I've seen that shit go on, that's you need to get your ass kicked. Like if I played in the NBA, okay? If I was a big bad dude in the NBA and Draymond Green did that to me, I guarantee you with my life on the line that I would find him after the game. Guaranteed I would be getting arrested, but I'm going to kick his ass. And I'm going to teach him a lesson to never do that again. Guaranteed, I would kick Draymond Green's ass badly for that. If I was an NBA player, because then that means I'm as big and as tough as he is. And he did that shit to me, just like if I was in a pickup game and somebody did that shit to me because we're fighting right there. Right there. Whether you like it or not, we're fighting. So I've never been a Draymond Green fan. By the way, I remember some of you Heat fans when he was a free agent years ago. Some of you actually wanted to sign him. Some of you were stupid enough to think he was a frontline player when he was never a frontline player. He was always a complimentary player. Never, ever a top 2 or 3 player, ever. His game never warranted that. But I remember Heat fans that wanted him, pay him a big-ass salary and all that, and I laughed at some of you out there for that. So, yeah, I'm not a Draymond Green fan. Never been a Draymond Green fan of the person. I respect those kind of players, except where he takes it to an extreme. And it's like what Cam said. He's lost all credibility. He's lost any kind of sympathy. He gets none of that because of the way he's acted his entire career. So, and if I'm the Warriors, I don't know when his contract is up. I think it's this year or next year maybe, but I would tell him thank you and have a great life. We need to move on. He is absolutely not worth it. Brian Walter says, Big O, I remember when the Lakers, Kurt Rambis, was clotheslined in the 84 by Kevin Michael. No, that was was it you mean Kevin McHale? Yeah, I remember the clothesline of Kurt Rambis. Big O, did you see the soccer player putting all of his assets under his mother's name so his wife wouldn't get a penny when she divorced him? It pays to be a mama's boy. I did not see that, but that is genius. That's fantastic. You said we need SOBs on this team. Yeah. Not stupid sons of bitches. You need a son of a bitch. Not a stupid son of a bitch. Okay? That's Draymond Green. I have a deep dislike for Draymond Green. He's nothing more than an agitator, just a bigger Pat Beverly to me. But Pat Beverly at least is a excellent defender at this point. Isai says, Big O, I just started watching The Mandalorian. I'm completely invested now. I started watching it out of curiosity. This is the way. It's excellent. Next week, we get the last episode of the season, which sucks. By the way, I finished Andor. And I think it was Pat in Asheville or maybe Doug or somebody said that I would make it my favorite out of all of them. No, it's not. Now, I enjoy the Mandalorian more than Andor, to be quite honest. I liked Andor. I thought they spent too much time in the prison. I think the storyline in the prison to get out was way too long and way too much. That's just me. I enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite. Definitely not. I enjoyed Mandalorian more. I enjoyed Kenobi more than Andor. I can't wait for actually Kenobi's second season. So I'm looking forward to it. But I enjoyed it. But not my favorite. Big O, how we feeling about Canes women's softball going into the season? Oh, man. Confident they're going to win it all. A new season of The Last Kingdom started April 14th. The Last Kingdom. Where have I heard that? Is that the one where the dudes that like are on the beach and that woman was in charge? What's her name? Let me see here. The Last Kingdom. Oh, no. No, it's completely different. Okay, I was thinking of something else. This is on the BBC. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about The Last Kingdom, so no. I have no idea what that is. Kenobi gets the nod from me, even over Mondo. Okay, that's fine. But Andor, I don't put it as my favorite. I enjoyed it, but do you like The Last of Us? What is The Last of Us? I have no idea what The Last of Us is. Season 2 of Andor will lead up to Rogue One events. You know what? I enjoyed Rogue One. To me, that was a good movie, man. I enjoyed Rogue One a lot. That was cool. Okay. And then FYI, this week, yes, is the last episode. I know it sucks that this is the last week of the Mandalorian. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, it's a Two Extreme says it's an HBO series. Last of Us. Okay, I'll try to check it out. I have no idea what it is. True Fin Fan says going to pass by and say hi Thursday. Big O. Well, thank you, True Fin Fan. Come by, bro. That'll be great. We'll be at Hialeah Park like we are, 3 to 6 in the afternoon. So we would love to see you all. This week we're at Hialeah Park on Thursday. And then, well, you can't visit us unless you go to KSDT CPA on Friday to do your taxes and meet with somebody. Then they'll take you back there to hang out with us. That's how you can meet us at KSDT CPA over in Dadeland. Okay. By the way, the Cult is coming to town. Going to the Parker in Fort Lauderdale on May 17th. Our friends in Daytona, you'll get them in Rockville on the 18th. And our friends in Clearwater, you'll get them at Ruth Eckerd on May 20th. Definitely getting tickets to that. And Boy George and the Culture Club. Yeah, baby, with Howard Jones and Berlin. So you can get it at the I Think Amphitheater on July 13th, part of the Ford Concert Series. In Tampa at the Mid-Florida Amphitheater on July 15th. And at Daly's Place in Jacksonville on July 16th. A little Culture Club, a little Howard Jones, and Berlin. I'm going to go to that concert. I love Berlin, Howard Jones, and I definitely like the Culture Club. Got no problem with that. I know DeSantis won't be there, but I'll be there. Okay? What else do we have going on? Bitcoin, by the way, still just over 30,000, which is a beautiful thing. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And remember, you can make a Bitcoin donation. Nothing wrong with making a Bitcoin donation. We always appreciate it. Remember, through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, we get 100% of the donation through YouTube, which again, we appreciate the super chat, but they take 30%. Like YouTube doesn't make enough money as it is, but yeah, what are you going to do? It is what it is. Last of Us is based off a video game. Really good game and show. Okay. Sadly, Obi-Wan was like a one-off, no active development for season 2 as of yet. Oh, really? So no, I thought they would have a season 2 for Obi-Wan. Let's see. Tua Time says to True Fin, bring some gambling money. Loosest slots, baby. Hunter Butler, The Last of Us is inspired by the game The Last of Us. They are zombies, but the movie World War Z, not The Walking Dead, and they have zombies that look like something from the movie Alien. Okay. But I ran into a couple of the episodes of what's the one you just talked about, The Walking Dead, and from a lot of people, not everybody, but from a lot of people that I hear with The Walking Dead, it was like The Walking Dead was awesome for the first couple seasons, then it jumped the shark and it just kind of ran out of gas in the last couple of seasons after that. I don't know if that's true or not. And so I'm wondering, The Last of Us, is it the same kind of shit? Because like these zombie stories, how much can you tell? You know what I'm saying? So does it start strong and then kind of fades away? And this happens with a lot of TV shows. Sometimes they keep the TV show going too long, and it's just because they're trying to milk it. Here, I'll give you an example. Karate Kid, right? And not Karate Kid. What's it called? What's the TV show called? The first couple seasons was awesome. And then it jumped the shark, bro. They brought in the other guy with the ponytail, and then they, went with national stuff and all that. It got crazy. Cobra Kai, that's it. You know what I'm saying? It just got too crazy. I tuned it out already at that point. I was like, okay, I get it, man. You're in the money grab department. And that's what happens sometimes. It gets to a point where you're just doing it for the money now. And you're not really doing it because you're writing a great script anymore. So that's what I've heard. Big O, where would you put Chosen Anderson in the wide receiver depth chart? Maybe you should listen to the show yesterday. Let's see. Have you heard Star Wars Battlefront 2? It's a very good game. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know about the games, bro. I'm sorry. You should dress and drag for that Culture Club show, Oh. That would be a good idea. That would be entertaining. Big O, you're going to like The Last of Us. Pablo Pascal plays an amazing role. He's also from the man. Oh, I know Pascal. He's all over the place, bro. That guy's like working everywhere. Pascal is one of the guys that the Equalizer kills. He's the main guy out of the group, right? He's the one with the wife and the kids and all that. And the Equalizer shows up at his home, right? That's Pablo Pascal. My only problem is I only get to kill you guys one time. I love the Equalizer. Is it just you? Huh? What? Well, if you worked on the power lines, your hands wouldn't look like that. Oh, I love the Equalizer. That's a great role that Denzel, obviously reliving, or what's it called? Bringing back the original Equalizer, television show, obviously. And I'm not talking about Queen Latifah, by the way. Okay, I'm talking about the Denzel one. So, yeah. I enjoy that one a lot. When you pray for rain, you got to prepare for the mud too. Yeah. Two kinds of pain in this world. I'm telling you. I can watch the Equalizer over and over again too, by the way, and the Equalizer 2. And now there's the 3 is coming, right? I'm pretty sure there's a number 3 coming. What do you got for me, Sean?
Manny's ready.
All right, let's go. Let's talk a little Canes. Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
points, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. Oh, how are you?
Excellent. Cannot complain, and I guess Canes fans can't complain. They got another commitment here in the last couple of days, right?
Yeah, they've had 3 since Friday. Chance Robinson was the first one, the blue chip receiver out of here at St. Thomas Aquinas. Yep. Got him Friday night. Got Dylan Day, a cornerback out of Louisiana, who's a 3-star, a guy that was sort of handpicked by the new defensive coordinator, Lance Guidry. He'd been recruiting him since he was at Marshall. And then last night they pick up a running back in Chris Wheatley, Humphrey, and he's a 1,100-yard back last year in 7 games at South Broward High School. Another 3-star recruit, fast kid, 6 foot, 175 pounds. So, look, they're not the elite blue chippers, but the one thing I'll tell the Miami fans who are panicking, saying why you're taking all these 3-star kids, is the elite kids, the 5 stars and the 4 stars, all the defensive linemen that Miami has hosted here in the last month during spring football, the kids who were down here at the spring game, those kids don't make decisions usually until June, July. That's when those guys start to land, commitments and make commitments. So I think, you need to have a little bit of patience if you're Miami. I know Florida State and Florida are doing a good job. They've got 5 stars and 4 stars and all that kind of stuff. But, to me, a lot of these kids that they're taking right now are depth pieces, guys that make your class deep, that fill holes, and the elite guys will be coming over the summertime.
Okay. All right. When we talk about, you and I have had this conversation for 20. I don't get hung up on the stars that much.
Right.
I don't get hung up on the 5 or the 3-star because I've watched the 5-star be terrible and I've watched the 3-star become a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And so to me, I this is my problem with all of this. You got the fans freaking out and thinking, because I got some of that on my DM, another 3-star. Well, Mario can't get a 4 or 5, and it's like, brother, you don't know if this 3-star is going to be Warren Sapp or Santana Moss or whatever, man. I mean, there are guys that. How about right now, currently on the roster? Is there a guy that can you come up with a couple guys here over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years that was a lower star guy that ended up becoming a pretty damn good player for this team?
Well, there's a couple. I mean, Gregory Rousseau stands out like a sore thumb because he was basically a 3-star his entire high school career. They thought, he was playing out of position at wide receiver in high school. And Manny Diaz recognized that, hey, this guy's going to be a terrific edge rusher. Let's bring him in here. So, look, they've done a good job at times identifying guys. Cam Kitchens was a 4-star guy, but he wasn't a 5-star. He wasn't a can't miss. James Williams was that guy. Who's been better so far in their career, Cam Kitchens or James Williams?
Right.
To me, it's a marriage of things. To me, what I look for, and you mentioned we've been doing this for over 3 decades now. I spent the weekend in Orlando at this OT 7-on-7 tournament where it's sort of like this national showcase. You have kids from all over the country playing in this stuff. What I look for is personality. I look for coachability. How much of these guys really want to be elite? How many of these guys live in a fantasy world where they're a superstar already in their mind, where the star ranking gets to their head and they think that they're set and they're made? There's a lot of guys that have come to Miami highly ranked that didn't have the right kind of mentality to become elite football players. And I think on the flip side, they didn't get the right kind of coaching and development either. So it's a 2-way street. But in the grand scheme of things, Mario is letting his new assistant coaches go out and get guys that they really like. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Is that these guys make those evaluations, get to know these kids when they come and visit on campus, get to know the people around them. And then if they have the confidence to say, we want you here, we want to take your commitment, let them do that. Let these guys work. Let Tim Harris Jr., who knows this city really, really well and has coached at FIU and UCF for a while, By the way, he's done well. Tim Harris Jr. has done a pretty good job at both places as a coach. Let him work. Let him pick the kids that he wants. Let Lance Guidry, your defensive coordinator, who just had a monster season with a bunch of no names at Marshall, let him pick some guys that he thinks can do a good job. Let your new offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson. You don't get Aaron Nolan, okay? Disappointment. You want the 5-star elite Campman's kid. Let him pick Judd Anderson if that's who he really likes, if he really thinks he can develop him and make him special. I don't mind taking a few of those guys, but I think in the long run, you do want more of the best players, and you do want more of the proven commodities, because I think nowadays it's a lot harder to find a diamond in the rough than it was before. All of these kids are exposed. The film is everywhere. The best of the best usually rise to the top. But to me, what I look for when I talk to these kids is personality. Can they be coached at college? Will they do their job when they're in college?
KJ Osborne.
Yeah, that's another good one.
2 stars.
Yeah.
2 stars.
Transfer from Buffalo, who, he kind of had to go prove himself in the MAC first, and then Miami found him through the transfer portal. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can develop guys nowadays. I think the
2 stars, and he's an NFL receiver.
There's no doubt. Look,
college.
Yeah.
Screw college. He's an NFL receiver. 2 estrellas.
Right. David Njoku, who was one of the last first-round picks, was an Al Golden recruit out of the state of Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, with the state. And I think he was a 3-star guy. And he ends up being a first-round pick, to the Browns. I know he hasn't had a spectacular NFL career. He's been kind of hit and miss at times. But the guy was a first-round pick, and he was a 3-star. There's plenty of examples, though. I think what the fans have to do is, let Mario do his job. Let's see how they look this year. Let's see how they develop this coming season in year number 2, when now there's no excuse anymore. These are his players now, right? I mean, he's between the transfer portal and everything else. He's flipped this roster pretty significantly. Year 1, it's tough. You're coaching another guy's players. Year 2, a lot more of your guys on the roster. Let's see how they look this year.
What else is going on in the recruiting circles at this moment?
Well, look, there's a lot of guys that they're in on that are sort of lower tier guys. 2 names to know: Juan Minaya, who is a unranked offensive tackle out of Paramus, New Jersey, Paramus Catholic High School. He's 6'6", 315. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Frankie Tinalau, who they signed in the last class. That was the Australian kid that they signed last year and got committed early. Similar type player, a lot of potential, a lot of size, a lot of strength. But raw, and I think he could be a commitment here in the next couple of days. I think Isaiah Thomas, a safety out of Clearwater Academy International. He's a 3-star kid, originally from Toronto, 6'2", 205. Another sort of handpicked guy by this coaching staff, guys that they just like and they want to make sure are part of this class. So I think those are two names to know. Again, the elite kids, all those guys that everybody wants, the 5 stars, the 4 stars, the David Stones of the world, Justin Scott, JoJo Trader, those guys are going to make decisions over the summertime. Some of it may bleed into the fall. Some of them might be waiting to make decisions at the All-American Bowl, things of that nature. Those things will happen with the more elite players as time goes on. But for now, those are the other kids that I just mentioned. Those are guys that I think you should have eyes on.
What do I not know about Isaiah Wong and why he declared for the NBA draft? What is it that I don't know? Because I think he just made a mistake.
Well, I mean, this is one of those things. You either have it or you don't, right? You either have the goods. Look, I'm a firm believer, at least when it comes to baseball, right? I can talk about baseball in this regard because I covered it for 7 years. I was around minor league players. If you don't have it by your 2nd or 3rd year, if you're not an elite hitter by then, or you're not an elite pitcher with elite stuff, you usually don't develop into that guy. Isaiah Wong was the ACC Player of the Year this year. He took a step forward. He took Miami to the Final Four. He's a guy who I think has probably hit his ceiling. I don't know how much more developed he can be. I thought he was excellent this year. My question to you is, how much more ceiling does he have to you? Is he an NBA player in your mind?
No, he's not. I think he's lucky if he's the 14th player on a roster. And I think maybe he might be a G League guy, if anything, or overseas or anything like that. Here's my problem. Again, I don't have all the facts, so I'm wondering if there's something I don't know. But here's my problem with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when a specific running back for the University of Miami who had a couple of knee injuries, was a little overweight coming out of Coral Gables,
Yeah.
and he declared for the draft, and his mom was on dialysis, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
and his family needed money. So, you know what? It was the best thing for him to do at that moment, even though he still had something to prove, because he actually, if people really think about it, they never really saw the back that the Cavaliers fans saw.
Right.
Let's just be honest, because I went to a game of his in high school. And let me tell you, brother, UM never saw that back.
Right.
Ever.
No,
Okay?
that guy was on another planet.
That guy, exactly. Here they got a little overweight, the knee injury, all that, and he was still a monster, and obviously went to the NFL, was a monster, maybe should be in the Hall of Fame and all that good stuff. So I got it, I understood, but now we have NIL. So, dude, you're going to make money in NIL.
Yeah. I think
I don't know if your family needs money. I don't know if you need money. Or I'm thinking, I hate school. I got to get the hell out of here. I don't want to go to class. And let me tell you, I can relate to that because I hated freaking school. I couldn't stand school. I had to try to find a way around any class I could, skip, have some fun, whatever, get whatever grade I can just to get by, because that's
Right.
all I ever wanted to do in school, just get by. So maybe he has a hate for school like I do, like many kids do. I'm not exactly sure. But in today's NIL world, he can still make a lot of money next year, stay in school. The NBA will be there for you. Overseas basketball in the G League will be there for you. I just look at it and I say, I don't know. There's something there with Isaiah Wong, why he's leaving. I don't know what it is. And that's why I ask you, do you know the whole story? Is there something more to this?
I don't. It could very well be that maybe there's only so many spaces, NIL roster spots, so to speak, for the University of Miami, right? They've got one guy, right, and Jordan Miller, who's already gone. He was part of the Ruiz, team. There were 4 guys being paid by Ruiz this year. If Isaiah Wong leaves, now you got 2 openings, right? Essentially. So that could be a factor in all of this. Look, it's a personal decision. Like for a lot of these guys, like you said, the money being equal, he could come back and do another year of college. I think for Isaiah Wong, he's already tested the waters 2 times previous to this, where he entered his name into the draft and then pulled it out and came back to school. I think for some of these kids, they look at it like, am I really going to show anything more in college to help my draft profile? And I think for him, he probably feels like, no, there's nothing he can do. This is the best. He was the ACC Player of the Year, and now it's time to go pro and go start my career. And maybe it's just something he personally wants. Or could also be NIL, right? There's only so many roster spots available that you can invest money into. So I think it could be a combination of those things or one or the other. I wish Isaiah well. He helped Miami to the Final Four. He was the ACC Player of the Year. Maybe there were other guys on this team just as deserving of that ACC Player of the Year award, like Jordan Miller, or even Norchad when Norchad was on. But hey, look, kudos to Isaiah for a great career at Miami, and wish him the best.
Yeah, no, I wish obviously, and you could tell he's a fantastic young man and a quiet kid. You can tell and all that. It's just, man, stay another year, bro. You went to the Final Four. Who knows? If they can actually recruit another big man or 2 to add a little size to that team,
right?
That could be a really scary team next year, man.
I think we look at it through the eyes of the fan, right? Like, hey, look, this is what's best for the team. You have a chance to be special, come back for that reason. But so much of these decisions that are made by these kids is personal. It's all about whatever's best for them. And I think there's nothing wrong with that too. After you've put in 4 years, right, at the University of Miami, you've kind of served your sentence. Now you have the freedom to make the decision you want. You've given yourself to your university fully. So I think for him, it's just a personal decision. And again, Miami, I know, is looking in the portal. They're trying to replace him. They're trying to replace Jordan Miller and trying to fix that roster, and we'll see what they end up with. But I'm not worried about Larranaga. He seems to do a good job finding guys the right fits for his system.
Always, all over the world, he'll find them, bro. In backyard or across the continents.
Yep,
he'll find people. He's truly amazing. All All right. So, what did we learn from the spring game over the weekend?
What did we learn? I felt bad for Jakari Brown. He didn't have a good game. I don't know how much of the game you watched, or if you saw any of that. You know, that much of the performance, but he missed some open guys. I thought Emory Williams at times when they were tackling, he played really well. I thought he saw the field well. That'll be an interesting sort of battle to watch going forward. Who's the quarterback of the future for Miami? I thought Tyler did okay. You know, I watched him in person, then I watched the film afterward. I liked him more in person than I did on the film. Van Dyke, as far as the offense, I thought some of his decisions. There weren't guys creating a lot of separation at that wide
That's
receiver
what I was
position.
going to tell you. It still doesn't look like he has much of a receiving core right now.
No, I still think that's a position that they need to address. I mean, I like Colby Young. I think as a big possession receiver, right, a Rondé Gadsden type guy. I think he can make plays for you. I think Jacoby George can be a number 3 or number 4 receiver. I think Xavier Restrepo and ideally is a number 3 or number 4 receiver, but they need a stud. They need that elite guy. And it doesn't have to be somebody that goes to the NFL per se. Charleston Rambo was a perfect elite college receiver. He was an all ACC guy who could stretch the field. I think they just need speed at that position. Ray Joseph flashed. I liked him. I think you see the potential with him, the freshman out of Miami Edison, that they were able to kind of pull away from Clemson. I like him a lot. I thought defensively the cornerbacks played better than I thought they would. To be honest, I heard that they were going to be really bad. And in man coverage, they did a decent job. Devontae Brown had a pass breakup in the end zone. I thought this kid, Daryl Porter Jr., I know he got beat on the touchdown in the first half, but he knocked away a couple of passes, had a couple of PBUs. And obviously Ruben Bain at defensive end, you saw the 3 sacks that he had, the freshman. You see the potential there. A lot of guys out. Javion Cohen didn't play. He kind of tweaked his knee. Inez Cooper, I don't know what his situation was. He didn't play either. So you didn't have the 2 starting guards in the game. Zion Nelson, you know, I don't think he didn't play in the game, obviously, but you know, you look at left tackle, Jalen Rivers. Jalen Rivers gave up a couple sacks in that game. Zion Nelson still needs to be on this roster. I don't care what anybody says. Miami has to hold on to him and hope that he doesn't hit the transfer portal here, because he's probably their best left tackle when fully healthy. So we'll see, man. A lot to sort of chew into and study here for the weeks ahead. But I like what I saw. I didn't come away feeling negative about it. Like, oh man, they look like trash and this is going to be another horrible year. I think there was enough potential where you say, okay, at full strength, maybe this is a 7-win team, 8-win team this year versus a 5-win team that they were a year ago.
Well, you were right. The size is there on the offensive line. They got bigger.
Yeah, no doubt. Francis Mauigoa is legit. He's definitely ahead of Samson Okunlola, the other true freshman who's kind of the backup at left tackle. But I really like the
bigger than some of the buildings on campus.
What's that?
That Francis is actually bigger than some of the buildings on campus.
Yeah, no question. I like his just his whole demeanor, the way the kid carries himself. Spent an hour talking to him back in December, and he's got the right focus. So I think again, promising signs. I think we're headed in the right direction. I just think there's still going to be growing pains.
Yeah, no, of course. And he inherited a program that was just completely down and out, man. From in every angle, from recruiting to the facility to the talent to the coaching, everything. And you had to upgrade absolutely everything. And this is the kind of shit that unfortunately is not going to happen overnight, because it's football. In basketball, you could get 2 or 3 guys and it changes your entire complexion of your entire program. But in football, it's just so hard because it truly is a team game, from the training room to the coaches to the recruiters to the administrators to the players. There's just so much in play, dude, to create a great football, and then to catch up to the Clemsons and the Alabamas and the Ohio States and all that. And that's a daunting task, bro.
They're so far ahead, though. That's the problem. I think you go back and you look at the Alabama-Miami game from 2 seasons ago, that opener, right? I mean, they just totally outclassed in every, and that was supposed to be a good Miami team, right? With De'Aaron King coming back and some of the weapons that they had added. It felt like, that team would be able to turn the corner at some point, and they just got shoved backwards completely. And I think that's a fair question. If you're a Miami fan and you want to judge Mario Cristobal, it's when can they get on the field with an elite team and look like they deserve to be there.
Right.
That's how you can tell when Miami's headed in the right direction. And I think he's building it from the inside out with offensive line and defensive line. This year's big for defensive line. He's going to recruit a bunch of studs on the defensive line. They're going to pay for a bunch of studs on the defensive line, whatever it takes to bring those dudes in, NIL, everything else. That's where the resources are going. And I think you're going to see them get some good players here, but it takes time. It takes those guys bringing them in, coaching them up, getting them in a system. And then once you do that, you can find the elite receivers and quarterbacks and all that. Those guys will start to come because they want to come play and be a part of that.
Will the Cavender twins be paying for NIL for players since they have so much money?
Well, they could certainly help the basketball team, right? I mean, you figure they can give back a little bit.
Yeah, they produce so much damn money. I'm figuring, you may want to help out Katie Meyer there with a little NIL action, down the line. I'll tell you, boy, they are those business ladies are ass kickers, man.
They're on top of it, brother.
All right, what do you got going on the Athletics so folks can check you out?
Yeah, just some recruiting stuff. Like I said, I came back from that OT7. I talked about, 40 kids that were there, took pictures, did all kinds of reconnaissance work, as I like to call it, getting to know some of them, get a feel for where they're really going. One name for Miami long-term that I really like is Zaquan Patterson. He's a top 100 player, safety out of Hollywood Chaminade. He got his career started with DeMarcus Van Dyke. DeMarcus Van Dyke was his first coach at a Miramar AYFL, and really talented kid, man. He just helped his team win that tournament. He plays safety, and yet he was out there at receiver catching touchdowns left and right. Just one of those guys that bleeds Miami. Kind of reminds me of Cam Kitchens a little bit. And I think he'll end up a Hurricane, but we'll see. But writing about him and so many other guys that I like from watching out there.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro, and more importantly, subscribe to The Athletic so you can keep up with anything and everything going on with the Miami Hurricanes program. Manny, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up on Friday.
Good talking. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Thank you all out there, as always, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Appreciate Manny. Getting close here to wrapping up hour number 2 of the program. What do we got going on? Bitcoin over 30,158. Let's see. And the market right now, Dow Jones is down 100 points. The S&P is down nearly 8 points. And the NASDAQ barely down just 1/10 of a point. So not too bad right now. But on the crypto market, Bitcoin's up almost 3%. What else do we have going on? Immutable X up almost 3%. Chainlink, man. Chainlink's been going up nice. It's up now 8%, up to $8.70. The last, I would say, week has been monstrous for Chainlink. I'm a big Chainlink guy, and Chainlink, let me see. Where is it? Right there. It was at $7.14 on April 11th. Okay. And it's at $8.70 now. So it's made one hell of a climb. Gala Games. I'm big in a Gala. It's up 14%. It's approaching the 5-cent mark. Avalanche continues to cruise. It's only up 2%, but it's up over $21. This thing was down in the $15 range just a month ago, probably. Maybe even less than that. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see where we at. Yeah, about a month ago, March 26th, it was at 1651. How about that? It was at 1440 on March 8th. I told you. It's around $15. 1440 on March 8th. We're April 18th, and it's $21. Huge avalanche guy. So nice to see Jasmine back up to 70, which is getting close to a penny. So it's almost at 3/4 of a penny. It's up almost 8%. I like it. I like it. I like it. So some of the coins doing well on crypto right now. Tua Time says, Big O, my brother, can you explain to me what is going on with your governor and Disney? Didn't the guy get married at well, dude, it's he hates gay people. Guy can't stand gay people. That's all. He's just one of those uptight people that, has it out for the LGBTQ community. So if you are accepting of all people, he's not. He's one of those hardcore religious people. And it's a shame. It's the crazy part is, all right, there are no candidates to vote for. None. Not on the Democrat side, not on the Republican side. Democrats, obviously, they gave us this bum Joe Biden. And I get it. People voted for Joe Biden because you want to get Trump out, obviously. And the funny part about all of this is the Republicans have every opportunity to take over the White House. And they're drowning themselves with all the conservative crap. It's a shame. It's a shame. If you want to force abortion down, and you want to ban abortions, all these young people are going to vote you out, bro. All the moderates, all the young people, they're going to vote you out. And the Republicans are too stupid to figure this out. And they keep tying themselves to that extreme conservative right, far right. You know what I mean? And the Democrats have nothing. They have no candidates whatsoever. It's right there for the taking. And not one side can produce one good candidate. Not one. Not one. And then the Republicans have no shot at winning the White House at all, because if you're just going to put somebody up there that's going to lean to the conservative, the world is not conservative. The world is more liberal than ever, and it's going to get more liberal. In Arab nations, women are taking off their veils. In China, they're protesting and risking arrest. In Russia, there's this guy who was just put away for 25 years for criticizing. This conservative stuff, it's over. If you have conservative ways, God bless you, dude. But don't push it on most people, because most people don't want it. Republicans could easily get a president into the White House. All they got to do is stay away from that conservative stuff. You can't go that extreme. If you want to do that, you'll bury yourself. And so if you want to hate gays, and you want to stop women from controlling their bodies, you're not going to get to the White House. You're not. You're not. You got no shot. These young people are going to vote you all out. I get it. You're going for that old group. Well, guess what? Those people are dying, and they're less and less every day. Young people, they're not conservative. Young people are accepting, not like my generation and older generations. We are not accepting of others. We have all kinds of racist and biased people in our generations. But the young people, they don't care about color. They don't care about sexuality. Most of them accept each other for what they are. Non-binary, male, female, bisexual, whatever the hell. They don't care. So if you want to keep thinking that way, you go ahead. They're going to vote your ass right out. That's all. It's just the same thing with crypto. These dumbasses like Elizabeth Warren and all that, they're just going to vote your ass out, because in the end, it's going to take over whether you like it or not. The internet took over, what's it called? digital phones and cell phones took over, and flight to space takes over, and life changes. And if you want to be Elizabeth Warren and you want to be some of these other idiots that are anti-crypto, then you're going to get run over. And by the way, young people will be running you over, Elizabeth Warren. Just like young people will run over Trump and will run over DeSantis and will run over any other idiot that wants to tie themselves to extreme conservatism. It's all there to be had. The Democrats can't. The only reason they've got the White House now, it's because these idiots keep leaning to Trump, and you'll never win with Trump. So, until the Republicans figure that out, then, because the Republicans can easily take office, but you've got to find somebody that can relate to everybody. And you got to find somebody that wants to at least accept everybody, because everybody is not the same. So the guy here in Florida, he is fiscally responsible. I'm going to give DeSantis that. Okay. But his personal beliefs, his religious beliefs, they're gonna, he has no shot at winning now. The Republicans have no shot. They're going to give it to this deadbeat Biden again if he wants to run, basically. And then the Democrats have nobody else. Even if they don't want Biden, some of them, they have nobody else they can bring forward. I mean, it's really, Democrats and Republicans are such a disaster. It's just a joke to watch what's going on politically. So, whatever, man. It's weird, man. It's just, I don't know how somebody can just be so hateful of another person because of their religion or their sexuality or their color or their race or whatever it is. I don't get that stuff, man. I don't understand that. It's terrible. Giovanni, too far right, too far left isn't good. Too much salt or too much sugar can kill you. There is no party for a lot of us, Big O. I, like you, just stay away from it all. They all suck. Exactly. That's what I try to explain to the Republican, and I try to explain to the Democrat. You ain't got shit, bro. You think your party's got it right? No, dude, they're screwing you. Both parties are screwing you. You know what I mean? But the problem is the extreme Republicans or the extreme Democrats only hear the opposite. You know what I mean? That's all. And they're so stuck in their ways. And it's like, man, worry about Americans. Don't worry about Democrats and Republicans, because they ain't worth a damn. So what are you going to do? A lot of AEW talk. When's your next wrestling show there, Sean? Tonight? 8 o'clock? Yes, 8 o'clock tonight. I know it's normally around 8. So 8 o'clock tonight, you get a little Square Circle digest with the one and only Sean Stanley. The Sean Allen. You know him as Sean Stanley. Big O for president. Yeah, I'll be dead. I couldn't take that job for a month. You kidding me? I would be ripping Democrats and Republicans all over the place. I could never do that job because I couldn't get along with either side. Because both sides do all kinds of stupid things. So God, I would be fighting with Democrats and Republicans left and right, dude. Wow. Good thing is I'd have fun ripping them some new holes. There's no doubt about that. My first week, I would just love to get Elizabeth Warren and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those two useless turds, and crush their asses. God, I can't believe we vote that. Did you see George Santos says he's going to run again? Like, he has no shot at getting in, but it's like, wow, you got the balls to even say that, dude? Like, you think you got a shot at all? and how that guy stays in office, that's how disgusting our politics are, that we just keep him there to screw the people in his district. It's so terrible, man. Pat in Nashville says, Lord, I wish Biden would retire. Dems got nobody good in the bullpen, though. I thought DeSantis might be okay until he went hard right. Yeah, I thought DeSantis might be, because fiscally he's responsible, bro. Like, he does a really good job fiscally, DeSantis. But my God, his politics are horrible, bro. Jesus Christ. You can't respect African Americans. You hate gay people. Like, dude. It's, he wants to build a jail on Disney, like Disney World. Like, what are you, a moron, dude? You want to build a jail where kids go to hang out, like the place on earth that we all love to go and have some fun? You want to build a jail? Like, he's so useless, dude. Like, and by the way, I've learned this about DeSantis. He can't on these debates and all that with this with the orangutan. He's kind of like I don't know. I don't think he can handle other opinions. It's like he's got this little, like, I don't know, Hitler thing about him, bro. It's kind of weird, I tell you. There are no candidates, none. Democrats have none. Republicans have none. They have nobody that's for Americans. They can only come up with people that are for their sides and their interests. Okay? And both sides are scumbags, because that $1.7 trillion plan that the Democrats passed, the Republicans could have blocked it. And they chose not to. So don't complain about a plan that you agreed to and you probably got some stuff that you wanted, and that's why you approved it. You don't care about us. You know what I mean? So the dumbest thing is when you find somebody that's a Republican or a Democrat that actually thinks their side knows what they're doing and they're out for what's best for Americans. That's when I find it funny. Then I know you know nothing about politics as a Republican or a Democrat. That's my favorite part about all of that. Now I know you know nothing about politics if you think your side has it right. It's my favorite part. Next to, of course, the Democrat idiot that thinks I'm Republican, or the Republican idiot that thinks I'm a Democrat. That's the other one. That's my favorite, too. Because they really don't listen to the show, because I slam everybody. Because they're all garbage. But it's sad when some of you out there don't have the balls to even take shots at your own party. You know what I mean? I get Venmos all the time from Hateful Steve. All the time. Hardcore, hard right guy. Has no balls whatsoever taking any shots at his own people. Never. All he does is complain like a little bitch about Democrats. Never says anything bad about his side. That's when I know you ain't got no credibility, bro. Like Hateful Steve, zero credibility, zero, nothing. And all of you Democrats or Republicans that are like that, you got no credibility, because you got no balls to even look in the mirror and see how bad your own party is. And you won't even say it. You know, that's why I always have fun with Hateful Steve on Venmo, and I kill him because he's such a foolish Republican. Lost deep into he's lost into the center of Trump's ass. You know, but that's sad. Sad. Any loser that thinks Biden or Trump is the answer, you have no idea. You know nothing about politics, and you know nothing about Americans, because none of those guys are good for us. None of them. They only come up with people to drive their own interests. They don't come up with people that are going to help us. They're not going to help Republicans or Democrats. They don't want to help Americans. They want to help their own self-interest. That's all they do. It's terrible. Big O, what do you think of Joe Biden's law that allows Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelan people to get sponsored to live here? I know he went with that Trump plan of 30,000, right? I think it is, right? Every quarter or something like that. You gotta have people come in and out. You know, you're gonna have to have some people come in. But you got to control it. There's a way of control. What you can't do is have what Biden has allowed on the border. That's the kind of shit that can't be allowed. Now, this rule is actually pretty cool because if you don't get approved, you don't get allowed in the country. So if they catch you, they ship your ass right back. So I have no problem with that. I kind of like that. You know what I mean? But I know that I think it's 30,000, I believe, or something like that every quarter or something like that for each of these countries. So at least they have an opportunity, but they have to go through a process. This is the same thing that Trump was doing, which I have no problem with. I thought, I'm not a Trump guy, but I thought the border stuff was actually being handled the right way by him, except for the stupid wall. I don't think you really need the wall. It's a waste of money. But yeah, man, you got to put authorities there. You got to block the border. You can't allow people just crossing over for nothing. And you got to stop the criminal activity and all that stuff. It's got to be controlled. You know what I mean? But, you know, Biden is soft, like most Democrats are. That's just kind of what it is. They're not tough at times on certain things, crime and other things like that. It's just it's the way of the world, unfortunately. Disney World already has an underground jail. Isn't it just working there, a jail? I heard that's not the greatest company to work for, by the way. Okay? Kind of like Amazon and, you know, some of these big ass companies, like, you don't hear good stories about working for some of those companies, by the way. Oh, man. GP Trap says, I'm an independent as you are. I'm an American. I don't even want to look at myself as an independent, a Democrat, or a Republican. I'm an American. Period. And I want what's best for everybody. Not for one side, not for the other side, not for one religion, not for one color, not for one sex. Everybody. That's what I'm for. I'm for everybody. I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. I laugh at Democrats and Republicans. I keep trying to tell you guys that. Some of you can't pick up on that, but whatever. You know, and I don't believe that the Democrats or Republicans ever come up with a candidate that really gives a shit about us. Sorry. We end up voting people in that just care about some kind of personal interest. That's why Elizabeth Warren has $67 million in the bank and she doesn't even make $200,000 a year. Yet she wants to run CBDCs to control your ass and she doesn't want Bitcoin. I wonder why. You know, come on, man. You know, it's so stupid. And some of you out there, you fall for the Democratic or Republican sell jobs, and it's a shame. Nate G says, Big O, Greta Van Fleet going to be dropping a new album soon. Yeah, I saw they released another song. I am looking forward to it. I love the last album. I thought they did a great job with it, man. Big O, thoughts on DeSantis? I already told you, depressing. You know, I give him credit. He fiscally, he's pretty responsible, but his politics, how he's treated the black and the LGBT community, it's unacceptable, bro. You have to be a leader of human beings, and human beings come in every color, shape, size, sexuality, nationality, religion, and that's fine, bro. Like I just said earlier, all these young people are going to vote your ass out. So it doesn't really matter. Young people are not conservative, and young people are very accepting of each other. Very accepting. I get some young people might have grown up in an incredibly racist household. Those few, they're not. But in general, go look at young people, bro. You'll see them interacting with each other, colors, nationalities, sexuality. They're very accepting of each other. It's a different, you know, the problem is we have a whole bunch of, you know, older people. This is how we lived our lives. Are you guys ready for this? Hey, Rock Hudson, you stay in your little closet, bro. Just entertain us with your acting. Oh, Liberati. Oh, cute little gay man. Yeah, you play your little piano and then go away. That's how we wanted life back in when I was young. Keep gay people in a closet. We know you're gay, but we don't want you to tell us you're gay. We'll milk you for what you are. Oh, you're an entertainer. You're a comedian. Great. But you're just gay. Oh, the black person. Yes, entertain us, sing, whatever. You're just black. Get to the side. Some people still want that life. These young people, they're not like that, bro. They're not like that. The world that us 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the world that we all grew up in, like that recording from the Oklahoma folks that just got released, that kind of thinking, that's how the world used to think. You know, the gay person's all right as long as he's just entertaining us. But we don't want to socialize with the gay person. No. Yeah, the black person, yeah, no, you can shine my shoes, bro. Yeah, no, you can cook and clean, but I don't want to hang out with you. That's the world they want to go back to. And young people, they're going to bury your ass, bro. They're going to bury your ass. Every one of those people that think like that will never hold office again as time goes on. You might hold a little office in a rural area somewhere where people just like you think like you in that little shit town. But in big cities, in urban cities, when you get to New York and Chicago and Miami and Houston and all that it's gone. It's gone. Those young people are going to vote all of those people out of office. All of them. The abortion thing is a killer. That will end your career. Okay? Especially on the big stages. It may not end your career in a small little hick town somewhere in bumfuck somewhere that there's only 800 people there and, 700 of them happen to be extreme religious. Yeah, you'll get your votes there in that little town. But when it comes to big cities, it's over. Young people are going to vote all of them out. They will have no shot at holding office. But you want to tie yourself to that? You want to be hateful? Young people will vote you out, man. That shit lasted 20 and 30 and 40, 50, 60 years ago. You know what I mean? But look what's gone on. They shove the abortion thing down your throat. They can't put it up for vote because they know that we'll all vote it down and we all want abortion so women can control their bodies. Same as the Democrats. Look what they're doing. They want to shove CBDCs down your throat. They don't want Bitcoin because they want to control your lives, control your money, and control everything that you're doing. You know what I mean? Either way, either side. If you think they're for you, they're not. They're for their own self-interests. But you want to fall for the Democrat, Republican crap, you go ahead and do that and, be a sucker if you want. Big O, I wonder what kids today would think of Archie Bunker. Oh, yeah, I know they couldn't handle Bunker and George Jefferson and Fox and Red Fox, by the way, just in case you might think I'm saying Jamie Foxx. Red Fox and Don Rickles and God, yeah, no, they could never. They'd be disgusted with those people. Actually, young people don't have that. The one thing that while they're so accepting of each other, by the way, and religions and colors and sexuality and all of that, they've kind of lost their sense of humor of laughing at themselves, which is one thing that we did have back in the day. We were good at laughing at all of our, all the things that we have as, whatever, nationalities or sexuality or whatever, we'd actually laugh at ourselves. That they don't do that, actually. So they wouldn't be able to handle Archie Bunker or George Jefferson. It would be insulting to them to hear that kind of joking. Don Rickles. Like Don Rickles would go off on everybody. And it didn't matter what you were, where you came from, whatever it was, Don Rickles was going after your ass. But it was funny, right? And it's quirky things that we all have within ourselves that we do. and we were willing to laugh at that. That's kind of gone nowadays. That's unless you can go to a comedy club and and deal with an Anthony Jeselnik or somebody like that is going. What's the blonde girl? That's a little thick. What's her name? She's really like hardcore. She'll insult everything and anything. God, what's her name? Amy something? Is it Amy? Schumer. Yes, it is. Amy Schumer. Yeah, like Anthony Jeselnik, Amy Schumer, that kind of like really edgy comedy. That's the kind of stuff that we grew up with, the Richard Pryors of the world and all that. Those kind of comedians are, it's a lot harder for them to do their comedy nowadays. So Daniel Tosh too. He's a Dolphins fan too. Like that about Daniel Tosh. Big O total random question. Born in 91 here. Did you ever enjoy Western films? Yeah, I did, of course. Maybe your dad showed you. I'm trying to get into Clint Eastwood. My product will be launched in 2024. Has to do with, huh? Okay. But anyway, yeah, I watched Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson and Lee Van Cleef and all kinds of different guys in Westerns. Yeah, sure, dude. And you should watch Young Guns while you're at it. If you want to watch a Western that's pretty cool, that's a little bit more modern, back into the 80s. You don't have to go back into the 60s and the 70s. Young Guns would be one that I would suggest you watch with Kiefer Sutherland and the boys. That's actually a good one. Entertaining, but yeah, I watched the Westerns from back in the day, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, different ones. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the names, but for sure, yeah, I enjoyed some Westerns, no doubt. Carlin was one of the greatest. Exactly. Carlin was so good at really delving into social problems. And let me tell you, you listen to his comedy to this day, some of that stuff still is like right on target. Not everything, because some things change, but there's a lot of stuff that when you listen to Carlin, you're like, well, that shit still goes on, that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's fantastic. Rest in peace. Will Smith is going to come to your studio and slap you. I hope so. Russell Peters is the best at handling heckers and being edgy I've ever seen. I got to check him out, Sean. I've never heard of Russell Peters, bro. Apologies. Maybe my ignorance. Maybe he's really good, really famous, and I overlooked him or something. Or maybe I know who he is when I see his face, but I've never heard of Russell Peters. At least I don't think so. Snowflakes today, soft as F. Sad. Very true. Young Guns, Tombstone. Yeah, Tombstone. It's a good one. I forgot about Tombstone. I like it. Unforgiven. That's another one. Django, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a little too long, the movie. Django Unchained. I don't think it was as great as people made it out to be quite honest with you. And it certainly was too long of a movie. Way too long, bro. So Russell Peters is good, says Frankie. Okay. Oh, he's hilarious, says Sean. He's a Canadian Indian. Nice. Okay. All right. Bill Burr, I know. Bill Burr is funny. Affliction. That I know. Big O, did you ever get into Sergio Leone comedy Western spoof movies like the Trinity series? One even had, no, I did not. No, don't know anything about it, actually. The only comedy Western I know is Blazing Saddles, bro. That's the only I think, right? I want to say it's the only comedy Western that I know. I don't think I remember another comedy Western that I've ever seen in my life. Blazing Saddles. And Blazing Saddles is amazing. Excuse me while I whip this out. Margaret Cho is really good too. Margaret Cho like had her moment. Then her stand-up got really stale really quick. It's just one of those the germaphobe, what's his name? That he does those the thing with the briefcases. What's his name, bro? The germaphobe comedian. Jesus Christ, dude. Come on, man. Somebody help me out here. Howie Mandel. Thank you. Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel, he had some good stand-up comedy when he first started, and then immediately it got stale and it was old. And that's it. That whole it is that, and then he put on the five fingers thing and blew it up and all that. And his stand-up, like he would have never made it as a stand-up comedian long term. Luckily, he got the breaks for all the other TV gigs that he got. But there are certain comedians that they have a moment and then they're done. It's just not like they can't build on it anymore. And to me, Margaret Cho was that. She had her shtick right at the beginning, and then it was over. Howie Mandel, the same thing. He had that shtick for a moment, and then it was over. And then the character of Howie Mandel has kind of taken a life of its own, and he's been able to do other things. But his stand-up gone in 60 seconds, just like Margaret Cho. Margaret Cho had her thing early, and then it was over, bro. Roseanne did the same shit. Roseanne had her housewife shtick and all that, and it was funny at first, and then she got her gigs to be able to do, TV shows and all. That was her break. But her stand-up was that's it. It had a moment, and it was done. It wasn't going to live on. Certain comedians are like that. They can't stay funny forever. And they can't continue to do great stand-up that you'll go see them over and over and over again because, they're just phenomenal. You know what I mean? Steve Martin did the same thing. Steve Martin had some stand-up for early on, right? Early on, Getting Small and what was the other album that he had? Like the first, and then that's it, dude. It was over. That comedy was not going to last anymore. He wasn't going to run as a stand-up forever. He can't do that. And so then he got his parts and movies and things like that. There's a gift to being Maniscalco, whatever, Sebastian. Like, he's been doing it forever, and you can go and he'll come up with a new set, and it's excellent. You know what I mean? He's a good comedian. That is that's a craft. Jay Leno, by the way, he could do that too. Seinfeld could do it. There are certain guys that have that gift that they can come back. And for me, Seinfeld and Leno were pretty amazing because they didn't cuss at all. That's super special. But like Seinfeld, you can go back and see him a couple years later and he'll do a tour and he'll talk about a whole bunch of different things and he'll make you laugh your ass off. Certain comedians can continue to do it. Then there are some that have their moment. They hit it big at that moment, boom, and then they go on to stardom to do other things, and that's their break. Because if they really had to go back to the stage over and over again, their careers would die. And to me, Margaret Cho hasn't been funny in forever. You know what I mean? And I think just some of those comedians are like that. They have their shtick. Howie Mandel had it early on, and then it was over, bro. He wasn't going to make it as a stand-up comedian all the time. Sam Kinison, we never really got to see it, but he has the physical comedy to it. And I know the say it, and the screaming and all that. And I I know he then became the character and got the TV parts and all that stuff. That would have been interesting to see if he could have maintained it. Richard Pryor was one that could maintain it. He could do the movies, but then he could come up with a new set of because Richard was a genius, because a lot like Seinfeld, except with the bad words. But Richard and Jerry are so good about talking about life and the things that we all go through every single day. And then they find the funny things about it in different ways. But they had that gift and they can maintain that. You know what I mean? It's an odd thing. Howie Mandel, his bird impression is funny. Natasha Leggero is hilarious and dark. I think I've seen Natasha Leggero. I think that sounds a little familiar. Al Franken is a great political stand-up comic like George Carlin. I haven't seen him lately, so I wouldn't know, because ever since he became a senator acting like he was squeezing somebody's breasts, I don't really know about his comedy, to be quite honest. Blazing Saddles was hilarious. Yes, it was, bro. Blazing Saddles was so awesome. Andrew Dice Clay with his poems. Right. Andrew Dice Clay ran out. And then he became a character and he got some roles and things like that. And that saved him. But the mother Tuckett or whatever, yeah, all that stuff, yeah. That was going to run out. You can only do that for so long. Big Nick, South Florida Accountability says, oh, again, I'm feeling left out. Any brothers you like there? Some great ones. Did I not mention Richard Pryor right now? I thought I just mentioned Richard Pryor right now, and he had that magic. But anyway, yeah, Steve Martin, King Tut, that shit ran out of gas. Right after that, it was done. Definitely done. Look, recently, I thought Chris Rock completely forced that last one that he just had. That stand-up was mediocre. That was his worst stand-up I've ever seen. It was only good for the last 10 minutes that he ripped into Will Smith and Jada. That's the only that stand-up was completely forced. It wasn't that funny. And Chris Rock is funny. That one was not. That one was uncomfortable and forced. Don't have comics a window, then it's over. Coward, what do you think? I'm going to tear my Achilles and not be able to write a joke, Bill Burr. Apparently, Bill Cosby was also a pretty good comedian before. Actually, Bill Cosby was an excellent comedian. Bill Cosby had the same gift that Seinfeld and who's the other guy that I mentioned? And Leno has. That, forget about the stuff that he did, allegedly with women and all that other stuff. But Bill Cosby was incredibly funny. And again, Bill Cosby had the magic of really delving into the shit that you live every single day of your life. And so he was able to create that way that you relate to it and then you can laugh at it. And so, yes, he was actually a very good comedian. That's a good call. Very good call. Pablo Francisco was good, but now his stuff is old and no longer good. And it happens. Carlos Mencia had his time, and then, I think he plagiarized a bunch of it, and then he was out. It was done. The mind of Mencia. Louis Black is good. He's good. But Louis Black is a pure comedian that really, he's done some other things, but that's his thing. So he's kind of made a living from that. He is good, man. He does change it up. Bernie Mac was awesome. That's a good one right there, dude. God, I miss him. Rest in peace, Bernie. So good. So good. He was hilarious, man. Really, really good. That one brought a smile to my face because I can remember a lot of his stand-up stuff. And obviously, the shows and then the movies. Or was it Mr. 3000 and all that? Yeah. 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 He's good. That guy brings a smile to my face. And Bernie, rest in peace, man. At least you got to feel good about that, baby. You brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people's faces. Steve Harvey back in the day. Yeah, but he's no longer really. Does he do stand up still? Does he do a lot of it? I haven't seen Steve Harvey stand up lately. That's a good one. That's a good one. I can't say anything about it. I mean, I remember the young Steve Harvey, but does he still do stuff? I don't even know. Actually, I don't even know if it's any good. Actually, I haven't seen any of his stand up stuff. I mean, every time I see him, he's doing Family Feud or something like that. I don't really see him do stand up. Joey Diaz. Don't know who he is. Have no idea. I know Jim Gaffigan. He's kind of hit and miss with me. There are moments, and then there are some moments I'm like, all right. TJ Miller. Kind of sounds familiar, TJ Miller. Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, of course I know TJ Miller. Yeah, bro. Yeah, he's kind of isn't TJ Miller on that show like Slackers or was it Party Down or something? Wasn't he on one of those? Let me look it up. TJ Miller. I want to say I saw him in one of those shows. By the way, Party Down was fun. Really enjoyed Party Down. God, I want to say he was in one of those Slackers or let's see if I'm right. Oh, man. Not good radio for me to search for it here. I'm trying to find it here. And I'm going quickly through it, but maybe I skipped it. One of you can help me. Marlins needs more players like Luis Reyes. Yes, they do. It would be nice, but that's not that easy. They got to keep trading away pitching to go get more bats. That kid's a player, bro. I love that trade. When they made that trade, I've bragged about that trade from the get-go. I think I'm wrong. I don't think I see him on any of those. Maybe I've gone through too quickly. Theo Vaughn is hilarious. See, I don't know who Theo Vaughn is. Tom Segura, I know. Tom's pretty good. Chappelle. That, my friends, that dude. Now, that's some shit right there. Chappelle has that. He has the Richard Pryor magic. Chappelle and Richard Pryor have that magic, bro. They have that that they really know how to hit you right where you feel it with your emotions and how you think and laugh and all that kind of shit. He is really good, bro. Really, really good. Chappelle has it. That's one dude that can continue to do stand-up, and it is exceptional all the time. Yeah, I like that one. That's a really good call. I like it. Yeah, Jim Brewer is fun because obviously he adds the rock thing for me. So yeah, that I don't think Jim Brewer's one that everybody likes. I think Jim Brewer is a guy you like if you're a rock fan like I am. Then it'll help you like Jim Brewer a lot. If you're not a rock fan, I don't know if you're going to ever become a big Jim Brewer guy. It's kind of odd. Yeah. Let's see. Stravos. How Caius is on the come up and is hilarious. His crowd work is probably the best right now. I heard Chappelle is good, but not all the time. When he is high as hell, he sucks. Frankie, I don't know, bro. Every time I see Chappelle, he's fantastic. So you're not going to get me to say anything bad about Chappelle. He is awesome. The only thing I could ever say bad about Chappelle is, man, why did you leave the TV show with all that money on the line and you just disappeared? You know, that was a great show, man. It was on a groove, that Chappelle show. God, that was must-see TV every week. And then he just disappears for a while. That was like the weirdest thing. And it sucked for us because as fans, we're like, wow, we lost out on a great talent, and you know what's wrong with him, and we're all kind of worried. And then he comes back with these guns. He comes back in great shape. He doesn't look like skinny Chappelle anymore. He looks like, you know, cut up and got these cannons for arms, Chappelle, and then he comes back as strong as ever and just knocks it out of the park with one stand-up after another, and it's just legendary. He is awesome, dude. I can't, I don't know. I can't ever say anything even remotely average about Chappelle. Forget bad. I can't even say average. That guy is so exceptional at everything. I like him. He's funny as hell, man. He is funny as hell. Joe Coy is hilarious. Joe Coy. Another one that sounds kind of familiar. Oh, yeah. I've seen him. Yes. 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 I can't say I remember his comedy, but I remember the face. Yeah. I remember the face. I've seen the face before. I can't tell, oh, I remember this guy laughing or whatever. No, I don't remember it, but the face is very familiar. Chris Tucker I don't think he's that funny anymore. I think he might be that guy. He had his I think he had his time, dude. I don't think Chris Tucker brings it like he used to early on in his stand-up days. I don't know. I'd have to see a latest one, but I got to tell you, I don't think Tucker is at that level. I wouldn't put him there. Eddie Murphy had his time and he ran out of gas too, by the way. Eddie Murphy hasn't been funny in decades, my brother. Maybe funny for kids, but I disagree with you. Eddie Murphy's movies are no longer anything out of this world for adults. Okay? No, I disagree with you. Eddie Murphy had his time, but he couldn't maintain it. He can't do what Chappelle continues to do and do funny stand-up. He can't do that anymore. He's not. No way. No way. Does he have, like, Delirious is one of the greatest stand-ups of all time. There's no doubt about that. I'll never argue that. It's one of the greatest stand-ups. It's got one-liners and jokes that we'll all remember forever. But Eddie Murphy hasn't been funny in decades. So, no, I completely disagree with you. He had his time, but his time has come and gone. Yeah. In the one special, he tells you the punchline at the start of the joke and then tells you, and you still laugh when I deliver it. And sure enough, you're laughing. Rock and comedy, Tenacious D. Josh Blue, the handicapped comedian, is really funny. Don't know anything about him. You guys are enlightening me with some new people. Right. Murphy hasn't been funny since Raw. Well, on stand-up, yes. Yes, you are right. Since the purple leather of Raw, that was the last great stand-up for Eddie Murphy. You are correct. You are 1,000% right. That's accurate. I would say that. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Well, it looks like the Washington Redskins and their nightmare could be over. The Josh Harris Group has sent in its bid to the NFL to buy the Washington Commanders. The league is reviewing the offer and will provide the feedback, according to reports. The Harris Group, which includes billionaire Mitchell Rales, NBA Hall of Famer Magic Johnson, reached an agreement in principle with Commanders owner Dan and Tanya Snyder on Thursday to buy the team for $6.05 billion, fully financed. However, the deal still hasn't been signed, which is the next significant step in the process, and the offer was considered non-exclusive, leaving the door ajar for another group to perhaps win the bidding. Canadian billionaire Steve Apostopoulos, or whatever, who also submitted an offer, remains a contender to purchase the Commanders. The good thing is, and you knew it was going to happen because it's an NFL team and there's people that want it. Now, a couple of things for you Washington Commanders fans. It's going to take me a while. I'm going to screw it up many, many times. The good thing is you're getting your owner one way or the other. You're getting one group, either this group or the other group that, the Apostopoulos guy. So if Snuffleupagus doesn't, outbid Josh Harris, then you will have a new owner. Okay? Although, Commanders fans, wouldn't you want to have a Snuffleupagus to be an owner? That's actually pretty good. We haven't had a Snuffleupagus in our presence since the Muppets. So we need a Snuffleupagus there. So actually might be good. Now, but seriously, I mean, with Magic Johnson, that's the key. If you want to do anything, you go grab the Lucky Charm named Magic Johnson, and then you'll get it. Okay. Magic's always, his savvy is like at a Hall of Fame basketball level. Okay. He's as good a businessman as he was a basketball player. I mean, Jesus, dude, he is tied up with everything and anything possible. And he has made so much money off the field. God bless him, bro. He is awesome. He is awesome. But I'm happy for you Commanders fans because you finally get rid of Snyder. I'm happy for the NFL because they get rid of Snyder. You know what I'm saying? But it's nice to see that is moving forward and that the Redskins will get it done. KSDT CPA, it's tax season, man. And listen, the deadline just passed. Maybe you need an extension, personal or your business taxes. That was another deadline that had passed. You need an extension. Please call the great people at KSDT CPA. Wherever you're at, use the QR code. They've got 3 offices in South Florida, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. We're going to open up an office in North Carolina. Doesn't matter where you're at in the country. You can use the phone and call. You can do all of this by phone. You don't have to be in the office. It's not a big deal. Call them 305-670-3370 or use the QR code right there, the KSDTCPA.com. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Cap for Life is talking about Richard Pryor and the Sunset Strip and talking about the mafia keeping him as a pet. And all, yeah, there are so many with Richard Pryor that he's just at another level, bro. He's so good. So damn good, Richard Pryor, bro. RedRecover.com. We tell you about RedRecover.com. We got the hats going on. In fact, I was just charging the battery right now. And so I put the hat on this morning. There you go. There's the hat right there, baby. And it's got the nice, beautiful logo for redrecover.com. You can go to redrecover.com, go to the website. They won't have the hat right on the website. Just go to contact us and tell them that Big O told you about it. All right, there you go. And if you're looking to grow your hair back, you're starting to lose your hair, maybe your hair is starting to thin, ladies, you also can use it too. You can use the hat. It's a beautiful thing, man. Check it out for yourself. And when you go to redrecover.com, you're going to see that they have the dog wraps there too. They've got a new deal with Chewy now, and they're selling the dog wraps, and they're selling a lot of them. That's because they are phenomenal. So if you have a big dog or a small dog, depending on the wrap you need, the size, we've got it for you. As some of you that are dog owners, you know, some of our dogs, unfortunately, as they get older, they start to have some hip issues. And that causes problems for them to walk around and even just kind of enjoy their lives. The hip issues, you know, they don't want to deal with the pain and things like that. So you want to take care of your dogs like we do. Take care of them like kids. That's what we do. Well, we've got the wraps for their hips, man, and that helps just in case if they got any kind of arthritic conditions. One of our listeners had a Yorkie that had broken legs, and they had steel rods inserted, but it was still giving the little dog some issues. He's using the wraps now, and the dog is now enjoying life a lot more, moving around, more carefree, less discomfort. And, you know, come on, man, you know how we are about our dogs. We treat them like our kids. Go to redrecover.com, check it out. Check out the video blogs, all of that, man. And tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you there at redrecover.com. Kane signing a lot of guys after that spring game. Yeah, but dude, dude 67, it's just, I'll mention the names, but I don't care about any of these guys until I actually see them take the field and play and stay here. Then I can get excited. These kids, man, a year later, they're not happy because they didn't get enough playing time or whatever, and they're transferring out or they're homesick or whatever. It's just, it's so hard nowadays to keep up with all this shit. I just would rather wait till they actually take the field or the court, and then I can get excited when they're actually producing and they actually live up to any of the hype that people talked about too. That's the other crap that goes on. Man, people, oh, this guy's going to be the second coming, this, that. And it's like, brother, you watch them in a high school field. You don't even know how he's going to handle the college level. He may not have what it takes to do it, you know? And that's why for me, it's hard to get too excited about I don't get depressed about a 3-star guy because you should have gotten a 5-star guy. I don't get excited about the 5-star guy because he's for sure a hit. I can't get excited about any of these guys until I actually see them on the field playing well. And then I get excited like, okay, this kid can play. Because then I end up with, you know, these 5-star guys that you had him coming here, and then all of a sudden, you know, DJ Ivy, he's going to be the second coming, and no, he isn't. And that's the problem I have with all of this. So that's my deal with it, and why I don't get too high or too low about recruiting. That's why we kind of talked about some of you out there freaking out that the Canes are signing this 3-star guy and that's 3-star guy, and then you're making it sound like there's no shot he can play. And that's why I wanted to look up KJ Osborne, a 2-star guy. A 2-star guy that came here and kicked ass and then went to the NFL and has kicked ass. And he's 2 stars. That's why I don't get excited about it or depressed about it. I get excited after I watch KJ Osborne play and say, I like that kid. He's got some cojones. He's got character. He's got toughness. He's got hands. Then I can get excited about KJ Osborne. See what I'm saying? One of the, I ran into this article, and as a music guy, I know a little bit about this, right? But I didn't realize it was that many. So a lot of you out there may not know about this. Some of you I know will definitely know about this. But in music, there is this thing with the number 27. And a lot of musicians have died at the age of 27. 27 is when you're starting to get into your peak. Okay. So Kurt Cobain from Nirvana died at 27. Jim Morrison, a lot of you know, died at 27. Jimi Hendrix died at 27. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones died at 27. Janis Joplin died at the age of 27. Gary Thane from Uriah Heep, he died back in 75, a respiratory issue, 27. Dave Alexander from the Stooges, original bassist for the Stooges, died of pneumonia, 27. Ron Pigpen McKernan from the Grateful Dead. He was a keyboardist and a vocalist, died in 73 of internal hemorrhaging caused by excessive drinking. Also a former lover of Janis Joplin. He died at 27. Okay? By the way, Janis died 3 years after him at the age of 27. Sarouz Farazamd, I don't have no idea who he is, but he's from the Yellow Dogs, a guitarist. He died at the age of 27, was the drummer. Christian Pfaff from Hole. I don't really care about Hole, to be honest, because anything with Courtney Love, I want nothing to do with it. But she was in the band, and she died at the age of 27. Nicole Bonger from Visions of Atlantis. I have no idea of this band. She was the singer. She fronted this Australian band. It was a metal band. She died at the age of 27. Sean McCabe from Ink and Dagger. Don't know the band either. He was a vocalist, died in 2000 from alcohol and choking on his own vomit. He was 27. D. Boone from the Minutemen. Again, not a band I follow. He swerved off the road, ejecting him through its rear doors. The Minutemen frontman died on the scene of a broken neck. Jerry Michael Ward from the Mars Volta. Okay, passed away at the age of 27, drug overdose. Helmut Kohlin from Triumvirat, former bassist from a German prog band, died at 27. Thomas Fikiti from a band called Surfer Blood. He was a guitarist. Back in 2016, he died of complications from a rare form of cancer at 27. Chris Bell, big star. I don't know the band either. He died crashing in a sports car at the age of 27. Anton Yelchin from the Hammerheads died of a freak car accident in 16. Also 27. All these guys. Peter Ham. I know Badfinger. Peter Ham was 3 days shy of his 28th birthday. He was a singer and guitarist, and he killed himself in 75. He was in distress over poor financial situation and ongoing battle with the band's manager. Mia Zapata from the Gits. She was the front woman, 27, back in 93. Alan Wilson. I know this band, Canned Heat. He was a guitarist and singer and harmonica player. Alan Wilson overdosed on barbiturates on September 3rd, 1970. Jacob Miller from Inner Circle passed away in 1980. He was a close friend of Bob Marley. Miller lost his life in a car accident. Richie James from a band called Maniac Street Preachers. He was a guitarist. Passed away in 95 at 27. Pete DeFrias from Echo and the Bunnymen. Did not know this. Now, the problem is they have Ian McCullough's picture on there, not Pete DeFrias. He joined Liverpool's punkers Echo and the Bunnymen in 79, died 10 years later in a motorcycle accident. Kami from Malice Miser. She was a drummer back in 99. She also is gone. Brian Otteson from American Head Charge back in 05. And Leslie Harvey from Stone the Crows. The most bizarre death of them all. Leslie Harvey was electrocuted by a live microphone in 1972. 1,000 fans in Swansea, Wales, witnessed the fatal accident, and he was 27. These are 27 rock artists that died at the age of 27. So if you're starting a band, you youngins out there, you just need to make sure you pass the age of 27 and then you're home free after that. Okay. That's what we have learned. 27 is the age you've got to pass while you're a rocker. Or better yet, start a band when you're 28. That might be the better option right there. Start a band when you're 28 and you never will fall. Isn't it amazing how many people have died at the age of 27? And a lot of famous people, because we started out with a lot of big time names. But it is interesting how 27 is like this year for a lot of rock artists to pass away. Jesus. Aaron B says current 2 stars in the NFL, Josh Jacobs, Khalil Mack, David Johnson, Shaquille Barrett, Darius Williams, Jimmy Garoppolo, Aqib Talib, and Hunter Renfrow. Aqib Talib is in jail. I don't even think he hasn't been in football in the last couple of years. He is in some serious trouble. Tariq Cohen, he also put there, Carson Wentz, T.Y. Hilton, Cooper Kupp, J.J. Watt, Josh Allen, Jason Kelsey, Clay Matthews, and Bobby Wagner. It's a pretty good list. Nice job by you, Aaron B. It's a lot of work there. Thank you, sir. Cutting Crew died in your arms tonight. I hate that song. God. Cutting Crew, I just died in your arms tonight. When I hear that song, it's like listening to Starship, We Built This City, or Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire. God, I can't stand those songs. I turn off the radio. I think I've told you guys this before. I love Billy Joel. If I can go to a concert of his, I'll do it any day of the week and twice on Sundays. But that's the one song that I walk out of the arena and go to the bathroom, go buy my Billy Joel t-shirt or something during We Didn't Start, because he'll always play that stupid song. And I hate that song. And Starship, too. I love Jefferson Starship, but We Built This City, I can't stand that effing song. And Cutting Crew, I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been something you said. I can't stand that freaking song. There's just some songs, man. They just do it for me, and I'm just like, ew. I don't want to hear this. I'm sick of it. I don't know how old Bon Scott was, but I want to say he was older than 27. Or John Bonham. I mean, they would have been on that list, right? But I can look it up for you since you can't look it up yourself and you just ask because you're lazy. But I'll do it anyway. And Bon Scott was born in 46 and died in 80. So he was 34 years old. Okay. So there you go. And John Bonham was born in 48 and died in 1980. He was 32. So there you go. Okay. Neither was, I mean, if they were 27, they would have been on that list. You're talking about like, monster freaking names. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something I said. Or, I don't know. Maybe I sung it wrong. Edward Thurston Howell. I have no idea, bro. All I can tell you is that the second I hear that song, and I believe it starts off with the dun, 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 something like that, just bam. Bam. I'm out. We didn't start the fight. Yeah, turn that off. We built this city. Get that out of here. Yeah. So no dice. Can't take that at all. Sixers defeat the Nets 96-84. They're up 2-0. Kings defeat the Warriors 114-106. Sac Town is up 2-0 in that one. Marlins are now 9-8. They beat the Giants last night 4-3. Tonight, Alex sporting the wood taking on Edward Cabrera. Both guys don't have a win on the season, although Wood does have a 1.17 ERA. Cabrera is 4.63. He is 0-1. 6:40 first pitch at Lone Depot Park today. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. And thank you, John Nazarin on Venmo. It says, appreciate the Dems versus Reps comment. You are correct. Both are corrupt and don't care about real people. Thanks for your POV. Thank you, sir. And thank you for understanding that I don't give a shit about either side. Because that's, that's the part that just trips me out when somebody, they just tuned in or whatever, and they hear me like slam Warren or Biden, and they think I'm a Republican, or they hear me slam Trump or something, and then they think I'm a Democrat. And it's like, no, dude, no. I don't care about either side. That's your problem, not mine. But appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you, sir. Very kind of you. Anyway. So what else do we have going on? Big O, are you a Rogan fan? Sometimes. There he does say some stupid shit sometimes. So there are moments that he has some guests and they're good, and sometimes he'll say some things I agree with, and then sometimes he'll say some really stupid shit that I don't agree with. That kind of stuff. So yeah, it all depends. No, there's nothing on the Dolphins front, man. I would love to, but I'm not the guy that force feeds this shit to you. I'm not going to create controversy. I'm not going to, tell you, I'm not going to invent shit just to like get clicks. I just don't do that right now. No, not right. I mean, I just don't do that ever. That's just not who I am. There's nothing to talk about Dolphins wise at this point. There just isn't anything, man. There's no news. They're not signing anybody. We already talked about the receiver yesterday. We talked about Dalvin Cook. There just isn't anything going on right now. They're not signing anyone. There's no rumors of any kind of trade or anything. Nothing. That's the problem. So I would love to have some Dolphins talk and have some meat on the bone so we can actually, all right, we got this going on. We got that going. I think next week we'll have a bunch of, maybe later on in the week, and then next week we'll do a lot of draft talk. I'll pick up the draft talk a little bit more. We don't have a lot of picks, so only with the second and third rounders is the only thing you can really talk about. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit, but it's just like this is not a year where you can heavily get into the draft talk because there's only 2 picks. The rest is in the 6th, 7th rounds, and it's nothing. But so I can't. There's nothing to force right now to talk about with the Miami Dolphins, unfortunately. End of April, Dolphins will pick up again. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Mayor of Kingston is pretty solid. Is that a movie or a show? Mayor of Kingston, it's called? Or are we talking about the real mayor of Kingston? Oh, man. I have no idea. By the way, how screwed up was that shootout in Tennessee in that party? Like, they don't know who did it. Wow. That's crazy stuff, man. They haven't even found the person. That is insane, man. I saw that story yesterday. I see the gas lines, by the way, are still kind of crazy. Hang in there, folks. It'll get better. It'll get back to normal in another day or two. Everybody will have their gas. It's just a shame that they had all that flooding in Port Everglades, and I think I saw where it was like 2,400 trucks did not get to go out on the street over the last couple those 2 days of floods. Think about that. So now they've got to play catch up with all of that. That's a lot of gas, dude. I forgot how many millions of gallons he says they go through a day or something like that. Ridiculous. So it's a show called Mayor of Kingstown. Okay. Now, is it like in Kingstown, like in Jamaica? Is it like that Kingstown? That Kingstown? Isn't it Kingstown, Jamaica? Or is it another place, Kingstown, somewhere in our country? Or is it Kingston, Jamaica? Gotta correct me on that one. $3.75 gas per gallon right now. Well, what can I tell you, baby? You know how they look out for us, the middle class. But some of you keep believing that. It is Kingston? Okay, so then it's not Kingstown. So that must be somewhere else. Or maybe it's just a fictional city. Trench Town is where Bob was from. Okay. I had no idea. All right, what else do we have? I think we got nothing else going on, folks. Peter Murphy, by the way, coming October 29th to the Parker Playhouse. That is the David Bowie experience. For those of you out there, if you're going to go to that. Okay. All right, what else do we have? Nope, yeah, we're done. We're out of here. We're history. We're in the archives. Bitcoin, by the way, is still holding super strong over 30,000, up 2.5%. So that is good. That makes this man very happy. Gala up 14% makes me very happy. So there we go. All right, we are out of here. We thank Sean Stanley, the man that masters this program every single day. We thank Cameron Wolfe and Manny Navarro. We will see you all tomorrow at 8:45. Remember, because we've got Inside the Paint, the redrecover.com Inside the Paint show. That will be starting at 9 a.m. We'll be on at 8:45 tomorrow morning. Y'all be good out there. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place. Same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the